Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call the workshop Tuesday, May 28th to order. Madam Clerk,
Regular meeting.
roll call.
Yes, Madam President. Roll call for Municipal Council regular meeting, May 28, 2019 at 7 p.m. Councilman Abdelaziz.
Here.
Councilwoman Cotton. Councilman Jackson.
Present.
Councilman Kalik. Councilman McCoy. Here. Councilman Mims. Councilman Rivera. Councilman Velez.
Present, Madam Clerk.
Madam President.
Present. Please, as I asked before we began the meeting, I'm really going to need silence. Let the record reflect that Councilman Rivera, Councilman Kalik are in the finance meeting, and they should be coming out shortly. Did we hear from Councilwoman Cotton? Is she going?
She sent an email.
Oh, she's away? Okay, okay, very well.
There was an email.
Okay, very well.
I will
Madam
continue.
Clerk?
I'll continue. Yes, Madam President. Madam President and honorable council member, this evening we have to render the prayer our Councilwoman Lisa Mims, and she's a pastor of the New Beginnings Christian Outreach Ministries. And also to lead us in the flag salute will be John F. Kennedy High School Robotics. Please rise, everyone, for the prayer.
Please rise, everyone, for the flag salute. For the prayer and then the flag salute.
Let us pray. God, we thank you because this is the day that you have made, and so we rejoice and we are glad in it. God, we thank you for this amazing city, this city of righteousness known as Paterson, New Jersey. God, we pray that you continue to bless and prosper and succeed this city. We pray for every layer of government, our mayor, our council members. We pray for all elected officials, freeholders, all those members that touch this city. We pray for our firemen. We pray for our police. We pray for our lawyers. We pray for our judges. We pray for our workers, our teachers, our educators. We pray for all of those that come in to continue to make Paterson better. We thank you for our residents, that you continue to bless them as well. God, we thank you for the meeting on tonight. We pray that your Holy Spirit will be a part of it, that will lead and guide us into all truth. And God, we thank you in advance for what you're doing. We thank you for what you've already done. And we thank you for what you shall do. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Please remain standing. John F. Kennedy Robotics Club. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing. At this time, we will now have a moment of silence for our troops and any loved ones that we've lost. You may have a seat. Madam Clerk, can you please read the statement of compliance?
Yes, Madam President. Statement of compliance with the Open Public Meetings Law 2018 to 2019, regular meeting date, May 28, 2019, time 7 p.m. Adequate notice of this meeting was compiled and disseminated in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law in the following manner. 1. The annual notice of regular meetings and workshop sessions of the Municipal Council was compiled for the year 2018 to 2019 on or about July 1st, 2018. 2. A schedule of the regular meetings and workshop sessions of the Municipal Council for the year 2018 to 2019 was duly transmitted on or about July 1st, 2018 to the North Jersey Herald News, The Record, the Arabic Voice, Italian Voice, Passaic County Pulse, Dominicana News, Crusader International, El Especial, the Paterson Press, and the City Post News, in addition to any other publication duly requesting such notices. 3. The schedule of the regular meetings and workshop sessions of the Municipal Council for the year 2018 to 2019 was prominently posted in the lobby of City Hall first floor in the place reserved for the announcements of this type. 4. The schedule of the regular meetings and workshop sessions of the Municipal Council for the year 2018 to 2019 was duly filed with the municipal clerk. 5. A copy of the schedule of regular meetings of the Municipal Council was mailed to any person who requested and paid the fee authorized by the Open Public Records Act. Madam President.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, at this time, I'd like to take the consent agenda.
Sorry. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda items. All matters listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the council and will be enacted by one motion. The items listed on the consent agenda are numbers 6 through 26. Any item may be removed from the consent agenda by the request of any council member, and if so removed, will be treated as a separate matter.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Abdelaziz, second by Councilwoman Mims. Roll call, Madam Clerk, on the consent agenda.
Roll call on consent agenda items 6 through 26. Councilman Abdelaziz.
Yes.
Councilman Jackson.
Yes.
Councilman Khalid.
Yes.
Councilman McCoy.
Yes.
Councilman Mims.
Yes.
Councilman Velez.
Please, phones, put them in silence. Councilman Velez?
My vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Rivera, we are voting on the non-consent agenda items 6 through 26. Sorry, consent agenda. Items 6 through 26, thank you. Madam President,
Yes.
the vote is 8 in favor, 1 absent. Items number 6 through 26 on the consent agenda is hereby adopted.
Give me 1 second, Madam Clerk. Madam Clerk, at this time, I'd like to take item number 29 on the non-consent agenda.
Sure, Madam President. Item number 29. Next item on the non-consent agenda is item number 29. Item number 29 reads, resolution determined that the residential units proposed by Bartley Street Housing LLC meet an existing housing need. Economic Development Resolution 19-320.
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Mims, second by moved by Councilwoman Mims, second by Councilman, God, McCoy. Roll call, Madam Clerk, on item number 29.
Roll call on item number 29 for approval. Councilman Abdelaziz.
Pass.
Councilman Jackson.
Yes.
Councilman Khalid.
Yes.
Councilman McCoy.
Yes.
Councilman Mims.
Yes.
Councilman Rivera.
Yes.
Councilman Velez.
Yes.
Councilman Abdelaziz.
Yes.
Madam President,
Yes.
the The vote is 8 in favor, 1 absent. Item number 29 is hereby adopted.
Thank you. I want to welcome Councilman Morris to the chambers. I'd like to say, I mean, we miss you, okay? But I know that you're only a phone call away. I'm happy that number 29 is going forward. I'm sure that this is going to be a great project for the city of Paterson.
Thank you very much, Madam President. Indeed, it is a pleasure to be before such an esteemed body, and I understand that you're all doing not only God's work, but the people's work as well. It is a pleasure to be down in this humble chambers, and I'd like to thank each and every one of you for the support of the supportive housing resolution to bring much-needed supportive housing to the city of Paterson, and we look forward to working in partnership with the city council on this initiative. And I could also see the excitement still remains in the city of Paterson. So once again, thank you for your support.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Councilman, feel free to stay, Councilman. Feel free to stay. The entertainment will continue.
Sure.
No, I do plan on staying for a while because I'm really interested in what these good people have to say because, you know, as you know, government is about hearing the people's voices, and I want to listen to their voices also.
I approve
Thank
that
you.
message.
Thank you. Wow. Madam Clerk, item number 30. Non-consent.
Yes, Madam President. Next item is item number 30. Item number 30 read, resolution appointing Xavier C. Rodriguez as a judge of the Municipal Court of the City of Paterson, Law Resolution 19321.
So move.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Velez, second by Councilwoman Mims. Roll call on item number 30.
Roll call on item number 30 for approval. Councilman Abdelaziz.
Yes.
Councilman Jackson.
You know, Council President, I take my hat off to you and not reserving the time until after the public portion. And I want to move carefully here because I don't want to display any misconception of you and I, Council President and I, not being on the same page. But I tell you, there's a lot of things that come before this council that I really try to stand hard on, and these are those examples. I can't tell you how disappointed I am that, one, this person is even being presented by the administration. That's the first thing. You know, we talk about making a pledge to Paterson people. One of the things that I love to see, there's a sign there that says, "We are Paterson, look at us." This judge is what represents what Paterson does not need. To have someone who sits on the bench, who uses his authority, who has been consistently showing that he has no regard for the public in the fashion of respect, from a standpoint of respect or compassion, is not what Paterson needs. I think this is customary to the type of treatment that Patersonians have been receiving for so many years. To see some of the recommendations, I talked to the assignment committee, and you know, there's no one within the judicial system that feels like Paterson is getting a deal out of this matter. If you look at the judge's track record, the public has spoken. They've logged onto the website, they talked about him. I've shown this council and the administration. He has a number of different derogatory remarks. He treats people like trash, and I'm not happy because I'm not waiting for the day we begin to get these complaints. I'm hoping that my position at least sends a message to this judge that he needs to treat our people with a great amount of respect and not come into the city acting as if he's the Lord over the peasants in our community, which he has shown in Passaic. He wasn't renewed in Passaic not because the mayor wants his own person. He wasn't renewed because the public wasn't happy with his performance. And it's very disappointing, especially someone from Hispanic descent, when you see a person of color, whether Hispanic or Black African American, treat their own people worse than they treat other people. This is something that I'm really not looking forward to seeing. So obviously, I'm accustomed to being the odd man out, and I understand it, and I do respect and I appreciate the Council President, your position, but I definitely want to make my voice heard on this matter. This is yet another disappointing moment for me. My vote is no, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Kalik.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I hope this judge is just and fair to everybody. And also the administration made a good decision to present himself to the council. This judge had 8 bad reviews out of 62,000 plus cases. I don't think that's a bad number. And, you know, I hope for the best, and my vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman McCoy.
I want the public to understand and everyone to understand that we have a process here in the Municipal Council. We do not select. It's a matter of advice and consent. We elected someone to lead us. In the campaign, I had a different position. And the people spoke as to who they wanted in an overwhelming way. You have to give someone the team that they select, and then you hold them accountable to the result. I have not seen any official, credible statements or objection to this judge and with respect to his record. And I think we can only be fair. He did present himself to the Municipal Council. We had an opportunity to ask him about his process, his record, and raise the concerns that we have. But at the end of the day, it is the right and the privilege of the office of mayor to assemble a team and to select and recommend municipal judges. Without having any credible objection or any basis on which to object, it is our obligation to support that choice and to hold the mayor accountable for the results of the team that he selects. And I firmly believe that. I have no objections here. I give the mayor the benefit of the doubt in assembling his team. And I do look forward to a judicial process that is fair, that is honest, that is open, and that is respectful to litigants and everyone else. In these United States, one is innocent until proven guilty, and everyone is deserving of respect and respectful treatment, and it's my high expectation that the municipal court of the city of Paterson will be no exception. My vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Mims.
And so first, to the deceased family of Judge Keegan, I give my condolences and my sympathy. This appointment tonight is to finish the term for Judge Keegan, and it's actually 1 year left on the term. I think Councilman McCoy said it best. I have nothing to add except for it is just to finish the term of Judge Keegan. And I think we, as the legislative body, we definitely have to make sure that there are checks and balances in place. I think Mr. Judge Xavier Rodriguez came before this council, did an amazing job of answering a lot of questions. Sure, there could have been many other questions, but he did a great job of doing that. And I respect him for being able to answer and be transparent. But even after this vote on tonight, whatever that may be, I'm not sure at this point, But whatever it will be, I believe that we have to continue to hold not only him accountable, but the administration accountable to make sure that there's fair and just treatment across every ethnicity in the city, whereas we have over 72. So, Madam Clerk, my vote on tonight is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Rivera?
In the prior meeting, which was the workshop meeting, we had the opportunity to question this gentleman, the judge that's being proposed at this moment, and we had the opportunity to ask any questions and address any concerns. So we did so at that time, and my vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Velez?
Thank you, Madam Clerk, Councilmen. You know, when you look at the resume of Mr. Rodriguez, he was admitted in 1987 to the New Jersey Bar. Also, working 16 years at one court in Passaic, City of Passaic, that speak highly on that. Only 8 complaints. And let me tell you about that website. That website is an open website. Everyone could go there and write any statement against anybody. If I was a judge, probably would be full about more than 8 complaints. Now, probably. But that don't means that those complaints are more solid than the work that I perform. You could complain every day about me, what I do, or whatever, but my job speaks by itself. So, being that experience with me, and seeing 16 years of individual working in the bench, okay, now a lot of people are gonna be happy. Frustration comes when you come in front of the judge. If you don't break the law, you will not see that frustration. If you go by the law, you're gonna see that you're not gonna visit any judge in the state of New Jersey or in the municipal council, in the municipal judge in Paterson. Now, this judge presides 62,000 cases or more. So that speaks by itself. So I have to support it no matter what, based what I have in front of me. I don't care it was the mayor that appointed him. I don't care it was the president that appointed him. I don't care it's the governor appointed him. I know that he knows the quality of life that we're looking for in the city of Paterson, and he's gonna do the job diligence as he knows how to do it. My vote is yes.
Madam President?
So I think enough has been said. The only thing that I can say is that I believe our Dean of the Council said it best. You know, this is an appointment that is done by the mayor, and obviously we, the council, will confirm. The judge came before us, and yes, there was a lot of questions that we asked. And I'm not gonna go back and forth on, you know, my vice president, you know, had his reservations, and that's to be respected because we can agree to disagree on certain issues, but at the same time, be respectful, and I have to respect his position. I don't think anyone here, if I was a judge and I put you in jail or I took away your license, you're going to have something nice to say about me. I am, though, my belief is, and when I spoke to him directly, I said that I hope that he is a just judge, okay, a compassionate person as well. The city of Paterson is an interesting city, and we are unlike any other. And he served 17 years, well, 16 and a half years in Passaic, 13 of which he was a chief judge. And his removal was because a new administration came on, and that was the right of that mayor to decide to remove him or keep him. His plan is to become a Patersonian. He's actually already, if confirmed, moving, and so I want to give him the opportunity. But you best believe that I will be on the lookout. And again, there's lots of complaints on our behalf as well, so that's just life, all right? So I just want to give him the support at this time, and hopefully the mayor will continue to choose his cabinet in the best way he can. Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you. The vote is 7 in favor, 1 against, 1 absent. Item number 30 is hereby adopted.
Very well. Council members, it is my understanding, Mr. BA did send an email earlier removing item number 27.
That is
So
correct,
we
Madam
will be-
President.
We will be removing item number 27. Madam Clerk, at this time, I'd like to open the public portion. Actually, before I open the public portion, Councilman Rivera, payment of bills? Phyllis, if you can please pull the list. Oh, you have it already. Very good.
Payment of bills for May 28, 2019. We had payments totaling $1,047,919.28. There was no payroll at this time.
Okay, I have a motion for payment of bills by Councilman Rivera, second by Councilwoman Mims and Councilman, did you? Roll call, Madam Clerk, on payment of bills.
Yes, Madam President. Roll call and payment of bills in the amount $1,047,919.28. Councilman Abdelaziz?
Yes.
Councilman Jackson?
Yes.
Councilman Khalid?
Yes.
Councilman McCoy?
Yes.
Councilman Mims?
Yes.
Councilman Rivera?
Yes.
Councilman Velez?
Yes.
Madam President?
Yes.
The vote is 8 in favor, 1 absent. Payment of bills is hereby adopted.
Actually, I was asked if I can take item number 31 before we open the public portion. Madam Clerk, can you please read into the record item number 31
Yes, Madam President.
on the non-consent?
Next item is item number 31 in the non-consent agenda. Item number 31 reads, Resolution authorizing second contract extension with Professional Consulting, Inc. for a period up to 90 days for engineering services for the City of Paterson, RFP number 2018-07, Department of Public Works, Resolution 19322.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Abdelaziz, second by Councilwoman Mims. Roll call on item number...
Councilman Velez, I got a stronger voice there.
Moved by Councilman Abdelaziz, second by Councilwoman Mims and Councilman Velez. Roll call on item number 31, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Madam President. Roll call on item number 31. Councilman Abdelaziz?
Yes.
Councilman Jackson?
So just a quick educational series for the public. The last 10 and a half or so years, which I just recently found out, we've been paying an engineering firm $1 million a year, who sends one person to come to the city to represent the city, right? And it wasn't until I had a conversation with Councilman Rivera that I understood that this engineer doesn't work for the city, he's contracted, and his salary was $1 million a year, of which we can go through a whole series of blunders. Let's talk about the project right outside of Wendy's. We subbed out and hired another engineer to oversee a project who then just cost us an additional $2 million. There is no way I could support something like this. I said it before, it's nothing personal against the individual that works here, but this is how Paterson bleeds out. We talk about being responsible. There's a checks and balances process that's in place. The mistakes that the administration makes, the council's in place to catch those mistakes and vote in difference, holding them accountable. This is not accountability. We should have been, the moment I started screaming about this situation, we should have been hard on finding someone to replace him. We have a number of qualified engineers that's right from this city, but we seem to find people from every place else that put a price tag and a burden on our city that completely destroys our community. This is another huge mistake, and there's no way I can support this, not for one more moment. My vote is no.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Khalid? Yes. Councilman McCoy?
Not intending to rebuff the councilman's concern. This is an extension of a 90-day on a professional services contract. for an engineering services. It's more than just an individual. The engineering services that we engage in are more complicated and complex than just having one person with an engineering degree. There's specialty, there are specifications that are associated with that doesn't necessarily reside in one person. Not all engineers do the same thing. And so what you get by having a contract is an association with a company that can provide a particular expertise that you need at a given time. Again, this is a 90-day extension. It's not going to resolve the issue of going back, but it certainly will give us an opportunity to look at a way forward, how we want to address that, and move forward. My vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Mims?
So I mean, Councilman McCoy, you may have to switch seats. But I totally agree, but one thing I want to add is that this has been ongoing conversation. I'm not how long even before I got to the seat. But one of the things I want to commend the administration on is that we are now looking, or they have already have a requisition out, which I think they've interviewed, and they're going to the point of who they will hire for this position. So I think we're moving in the right direction to ensure that we have engineers that not only are Patersonians or work close to Paterson, but the other part is that they can make sure that they put the residents in the city of Paterson first. And I think that's very important when you have that and they're here. So this is an extension of the contract until we hire the person, and then there has to be training and cross-training to ensure that there's no gaps in between. And so because of that, my vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Rivera?
Like it was previously stated, we can't just shut down the city. There's a lot of projects that are going on, and we're not at a point where we could do a hire. And even at that time, we have to have a hybrid. It's not just gonna be an engineering house. We're gonna have to have an engineering house and hire other engineers on a need basis. And that's key, need basis. When I started here, and I noticed that every year we give someone or an entity $1 million off the bat, I said, well, how do you come at that number? So we need to be mindful of the things that we need to do here as a city, and we need to be a little bit more responsible with our resources. There was other things that came up. We started questioning how, who was supervising the road projects. Sometimes we had questions about outstanding projects, and no one could provide any answers to us. So we're voting yes. It's a 3-month contract, but it's necessary at this point. My vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Velez?
Yes.
Madam President?
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor, 1 against, 1 absent. Item number 31 is hereby adopted.
Okay, very well. Madam Clerk, the public portion is now open. I would ask, and please be mindful, how many speakers do we have?
10 speakers.
Okay, please be mindful that every speaker has a 3-minute limit. So I don't want to turn off your speakers, so please, we still have more business to do in the city of Paterson, but we definitely want to hear what you all have to say today. Madam Clerk, the first speaker?
Yes, Madam President. First speaker is Mr. Ernest Rucker. Please state your name and address for the record. Thank you.
Ernest Rucker, Paterson. Councilman Velez, I'm very proud of you on that last vote. You just said yes. Thank you. I'm here for a few reasons today. Our mayor promised us during this election that he would be transparent, he would bring jobs, he would work with the community. Well, we just got $130 to $140 million in tax credits for economic development. Let me repeat that, economic development. I don't see nothing in the mayor's vision that's bringing any revenues to this body or to this city. And plus, you see these people here? They're talking about jobs. Jobs. They're talking about feeding their families. I want to see economic development out of $140 million. I don't want to see another Joey Torres deal. Now, we all know what Joey did, but there's more secrecy in this administration at this point than I've seen in the last 50 years. Let me also say, I have fought with Alma Realty in the past. I now support the hotel and stadium because it brings money into the city. It brings 450 brick and mortar jobs. It brings 400 permanent jobs. Those are the projects that we're looking for. Those are the things we're looking for. I talk about prime time, where we were able to hire through the community through Save the Village 100 employees. This is what we're looking to see, jobs for Paterson residents. You know You know that I've been fighting about the resolution that says hire Paterson first. And what has this administration done? Go outside the city and bring in other people. Now, I believe a mayor should have his team. And I believe that a lot of this team is a great team. But when you sneak people in to work in Paterson and ignore Paterson residents, we're not tolerating that anymore. We want a project out of $140 million that's going to bring in revenue. I believe it's $1.5 million that's been offered by Alma. That's negotiable. What other project has the mayor put on the table that's revenue gathering? The stadium is not. We don't even own it. The Board of Education owns it. Do I want to see the stadium fixed? Of course I do. But I need ratables right now. Taxpayers need ratables. Renters need ratables so that rents don't go up. We need jobs in this city. Don't take that $140 million and waste it on projects that bring no ratables to this city. This governing body has a joint responsibility with the mayor. The mayor doesn't control everything. You're part of this process. When are we going to stop the games? Councilmen, councilwomen, we need projects that's going to bring ratables, there's going to be jobs in this city. I've been here a long time. I've never seen the games played through economic development. One second, Madam President. Through economic development like I've seen in the last 7-8 months. We need jobs in this city.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Rucker. Madam Clerk, next speaker.
Yes, Madam President. Next speaker is Mr. Teague.
All right. Good evening, council members, to all of the Paterson residents watching. I had just a couple of things. I'll start off with the case of Jameek Lowry. I know you all haven't seen me here for a couple of weeks. That's because we've been working. This past weekend, something very, very amazing took place where the family came together. I can't get into too many details about it, but I can say, number one, that the Federal Bureau of Investigation is here. They're investigating this case rigorously. I can guarantee you that people are going to go to jail for it. People are going to lose their jobs. People are going to lose their seats. Remember that. People are going to lose their jobs and their seats. Those who say, oh, we can't do anything, when you ran, you said that you'll do pretty much anything that the community asks of you. And then when we came to you for help, you didn't want to do anything. We've noted that, and we're not going to let you forget it. We have clips of the video where you made statements, pictures, and everything, and we're going to be sure that next year and the years after, when the campaigns kick off for re-election, we will be there. And you guys know I'm a fierce campaigner. Might not win those seats, but I can sure throw a monkey wrench in any election. So we will do that. Second thing, I'll just be very honest with you. I am one of the spiritual advisors for a man in this city that is trying to bring some jobs here. There's so many things that said negative about him, but none of these people that speak negative about him have any idea of what they could do to bring jobs to the city. Mr. Florio is well prepared to employ Paterson people to work at his sites, to give them jobs, to feed their families. What part of that don't you understand? And the people who talk so much junk about him, they don't have $5 in their pocket. They don't have any money to do anything. So my thing is, if you don't like Mr. Florio, Let me see your $1 million. Let me see your money. Put your money on the table. If you have so much against what he does and you have so much against his properties, let's see your $1 million. Let me see where your properties are at. You either put up or you shut up. Plain and simple. I'm so sick of the politicians and people in this city putting that man down. Where's your money? This man is putting his own money on the table. He don't want to hire people from out of town. He has made it perfectly clear to me and passionately that he wants Paterson workers to work on his properties. That means children will get fed, they'll get clothes on their back, and when children are fed and when children have a good roof over their head, they can learn better. It's a whole cycle. We can't educate our children if they don't have a place to live, they don't have food to eat. So here is a group of people that you can't call lazy because they want to work. They don't want a handout. Nobody in this room wants a handout. Everybody in this room wants to work. They want a job. They don't want a handout. So you can't call them lazy, can't call them bums. They're here tonight. You say people need to work? Well, they're here. Time to give them a job. Mr. Florio's ready to do it. So let's let him do it. Point blank, let's let him do it. Alma Realty, whoever wants to come here and they have the money and they put it on the table and they're ready to do it, let them do it. So we can fix this situation with poverty in our city and bring our city to where it really needs to be. That's what we got to do. Enough talking, it's time to get to work.
Thank you very much, Mr. Teague. I am going to ask respectfully, don't get so close to the mic. I have my cameraman at the top saying, move back, because you're not going to, out there in TV world, right, in the cable, you're not going to be able to understand what you're saying. So please, if you want your message, we hear you here, but the people out there are not going to be able to understand you, okay? So please be mindful to not get so close to the microphone. Madam Clerk, next speaker, please.
Yes, Madam President. Next speaker is Ms. Kat Veloitis.
Who?
Kat
Okay.
Veloitis.
Welcome.
Hello. I'm much better at paying taxes and building things and hiring people than I am at speaking.
Oh my God.
So bear with me. It's been a while. I've traveled 10,000 miles and left my kids 10,000 miles away to come here because Paterson's very important to me. We've been in this city since 1999. A lot of people don't hear us. All developers are not the same. Charlie's a little flashier than me. But you know, he looks good, I look good, we're about the business. I have personally worked in Paterson for 7 years, on the ground, late night, sleeping on Church Street before those apartments were sexy, going to the steakhouse while it was empty, while we were trying to get people to come out, the beginning of what we thought was downtown revitalization. It didn't work out, and that's why we're here. We've invested in every ward, every single ward, not just through our projects in the mills, construction, commercial, warehouse, housing. We know what works now, and more importantly, we know what doesn't work. After all these years and all the millions of dollars invested, taxes paid, jobs created, this place has broken my heart and taken my heart, and I'm back again. But this is the last time I'm gonna come. This is it. I'm here personally to tell you, and some council people know, because they're older and been around a little longer, older on the council. We've been here a long time. And we've been gentlemen and ladies. We wanna invest in Paterson's downtown. We know we can do it. We've done our research. We have our professionals. And we know that the only thing that is really gonna jumpstart this economy is mass employment. Housing alone does not work. Parking alone does not work. It is only mass employment. An arena, a hotel, and a parking project bringing over $90 million to Paterson, over 400 construction jobs, and over 400 permanent hospitality jobs in downtown is the only way that we are gonna get this engine going. I know, because we've been working at it for a long time. The lots that we're developing on don't pay taxes. I pay taxes. We pay taxes. So let me pay you taxes. Only a project that can welcome thousands of residents and visitors to live, work, and play downtown and bring their money with them will create hundreds of jobs. Small businesses will be supported. Tax revenue will increase. We can afford our teachers, our cops, our streetlights. I'm gonna continue because I pay a little bit more than just a little bit more. I want the opportunity to thank everybody who came here. Like, it really is very emotional to me because I always come alone. You hear me screaming in the streets by myself, and I appreciate it so much that everybody came out today. We believe in Paterson. We will make it work. The question shouldn't be, do you support this project? The question is, how do you support this project? How can we set up training programs for the hospitality jobs to go to our residents? How can we improve safety in the streetscape? How can we clean up the train station? How can we reactivate downtown's second floor so people can live downtown and the lights are on and it's safe? How can we bring international companies to Paterson to invest in jobs, training, and the community? We've been here, we will continue to be here, and we want your support. Thank you.
Council President. Council President. Council President.
We can't let the speaker speak first.
We have a lot of speakers.
Councilman
speaker does it.
Jackson, I'm gonna give you 3-minute limit too.
I can do it
Go
less
ahead,
than that.
Councilman.
Several years back, I was at a debate in this chambers, and I made a statement. And I talked about the mall, and in particularly the success or lack thereof of the mall. And I made a statement, I said that we have to understand our climate, because I've been in business in this city for quite a long time, and I talked about the consumer base. And I said that if the owners of the mall weren't so heavily endowed, the mall would have went under a long time ago. Since then, I had an opportunity, after that, I had an opportunity to meet Ms. Cat. She read me the Hard Riot Act, because she is definitely a fierce fighter. And as the gentleman that I am, I didn't take any shots back at her. I just took my punishment. But they've shown such a commitment to the community, and I'm happy to see that she in fact agrees with me. Until the people of Paterson can afford to go out and spend on a $12 hamburger, cheeseburger, or buy filet mignon, or Kobe beef, because the vision was beyond Paterson at that point. Most people don't even know what Kobe beef is. But now we do. We must create avenues for Paterson people to be able to support these efforts. And in order for us to do that, we must support these type of projects. So I commend you for coming 10,000 miles. I take my hat off to you for leaving your children. I pray to God you didn't leave them with your husband, because I'm sure that's a big, I'm sure. But you have my full support, and I understand the difficulties and the challenges of business, and we, the community, need to rally behind this project. We have a developer that has taken money out of their pocket, come into our community, and spent hundreds of millions of dollars on something that we all need to support, not just from the standpoint of administratively and on the council, but even as consumers. I was there over the weekend, the batting cage was empty, but we have dozens of teams that take their kids out to Lefties or someplace else out of town. We have to understand that if we want things in our community to thrive and survive, we must support it, but we must first provide the opportunity and the employment for people to be able to support these things. So thank you, Council President, for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Councilman Kalik?
Actually, I have a question for Ms. Cat. I believe I met you once before, probably. I seen this project before, came in front of some board or something. I mean, what's stopping you from doing this project? Why are you?
We've been
Why are you
designing
here?
and discussing this project for about 3 years. Market studies, financial analysis, it's a difficult fit, design-wise. You know, I'm putting big thing in the middle of downtown. So we've done our due diligence, and we have partners. The parking authority is our landlord, and the city of Paterson has a mayor that is required and suggested to give a letter of support. So we've designed for it. I've presented it to the council people over the last 2-3 years. I've asked for feedback. Do you like the design? Do you like the use? What do you think? How can we do it? Because we're an open book. I knock on your doors. I come to your businesses. That's who I am. This is not my natural state over here. I'm on the ground, and I need it to be a success, and for it to be a success, we all need to support it, because it's for all of us. It's not mine, and it's not yours, it's all of ours. So I've been really trying to get the support. I thought I had the support, but time is ticking, there's 4 weeks left, and I need a letter of support from the city.
Council President?
Council President.
Councilman Abdelaziz, then Councilman Velez.
Thank you, Council President. I just
Councilwoman
want to
Menz.
put this on the record and let the public and the people in the audience understand with this letter of support. Mr. BA, the way the tax credits work here, does the letter need to come from the mayor or the city council?
From the mayor, Councilman.
From the mayor. So I just want to I'm not saying anything about the project that comes forward. All these suggestions, all these people that are here for this project should be here tomorrow morning at the mayor's office. The council does not support this tax credit. I'm a sports guy. I love the arena, but your application needs support from the mayor. And I just want everyone to know we're all here today, and I appreciate this. This is awesome to see it. But this can't stop here for the advocacy, because I think there's a misconception. It's not only from you. People come to us for things, and we know there's other items that may come in front of the council, but when it comes to these letters of support, that application strictly says it's the mayor that needs that letter. So I just
That's
want
the
the public
physical-
to know,
Yep.
and this advocacy that's going on needs to go downstairs and let the administration know where the people stand on this, and let them hear your
I need
voices.
a physical letter out of the mayor's office, but I want the council support. I want a resolution, I want a statement of your support. We are talking about $100 million into downtown. A letter doesn't mean anything at the end of the day, because I'm the one who's bringing the money. So I need to know.
Okay.
I have shirts. I brought you guys t-shirts. I want to know that every ward and every council person is accountable to their residents and constituents. That for once, we need to stand together and deliver. Not on an election and not on a seat. We need to deliver to everybody in here. And I can do my job. So support me and let me do my job.
Okay. Thank you very much, Kat. Kat, no more rebuttaling, but I am going to say this, and I understand what Councilman Abdulaziz was saying. He wanted everyone here to know that we can be supportive of it, but the way that the resolution is written, we've assigned a public entity who is the individual that, at the end of the day, will need support from the mayor to get the project to move forward. I don't know why the mayor, as of right now, has not embraced this. The mayor is fully aware of this project from way before when he was a councilman. So, but we're not going to go there right now. You know, that is something that the mayor will decide. I don't think that he has disregarded it fully. I think Mr. Bia can say that. I know that he has made some comments that there's some monies, but again, we're not going to go into that right now. But do know that in order for Alma to receive those tax credits, the letter of support has to come specifically the way it's written from the mayor's office. The mayor has to be the one to write that letter in support, so that way, at the state level, they will be able to obtain those tax credits. Councilman Velez, then
Thank you.
Councilwoman Mims.
Thank you, Council President. I just want to say this. I saw this project when the original project of the hotel failed. You guys came in and came in front of the boards, presented with Parking Authority. I was sitting as a representative of the council in that moment, and I saw the project. One thing I gotta say, and probably I gotta sound like tough on this, but I don't need to write a letter. You have my support for now. And let me tell you something. If the mayor has to make his decision or consideration into this letter, I'm sending a strong message now. Give this project to a local developer. If you come in here with an outsider, I'm not going to support nothing from outside. I will support anything that comes from Paterson and stays in Paterson. That's my vote.
Velez, Councilwoman Mims.
Well, Ms. Cat, I want to thank you for coming. And I always commend our developers that pay taxes.
Correct.
Right? I'm a new councilwoman, but the tax abatements and some of these pilots are killing the homeowner base. We have approximately 22,000, a little over, homeowners that pay for the bulk of almost 150,000 people in the city. And until ratables come into the city, until we're receiving tax money from developers like yourself, the homeowners are gonna continue to foot the bill for the entire city. And it's not fair to homeowners. You drive down some blocks, there's abandoned properties, our seniors can barely live here, and we're on transitional aid. We've been on it for years, and there's a requirement that we have to increase the percentage. So I applaud you for coming. I'm not sure why there's not the support, but I am gonna turn to our BA just to, I'm sure the mayor will get this message from his team, but I would like to recommend that we get an understanding as a council what is going on with their letter. Why is there a delay? Did they apply? What happened? Because I think it will, bring some clarity. I'm not sure if the mayor has reached out to Ms. Cat to find out what's going on, or if there's a delay, what is the concern? But I think just from an administrative perspective, we have to make sure that when we have business owners or developers that are already here, that we make sure that we continue to be good neighbors with them. So just my recommendation to the administration, that whatever the miscommunication or whatever the delay, we have only about 30 days left, that we have to still, whatever deal it is, and we need to make sure that if it needs to be a callback, a conference, a meeting, or whatever needs to be done, but I think we need to do that like ASAP.
So, Dr. Mims, I'll say this. I won't get into too
Mr.
many details
VA.
because I think it's a little unfair at this point to talk about the details because it is an active solicitation and procurement, so I don't want to do that. But yes, there was a process for everybody who was interested in receiving a part of the tax credits. I do understand that Alma did apply for some of the tax credits, and that process is ongoing. That's all I can say at this point. There have been communications going back and forth between Alma and others in our administration about those tax credits, and at the appropriate time, the appropriate decisions will be made, and we'll notify everybody who applied whether or not they got the tax credits.
Council President, very quickly, just a comment to you. With all due respect to our BA, but I mean, from what I understand, their application was the first one in. And furthermore, Council President, this message goes to you. I think that, it's time that you begin to take chapters out of
Roberts.
the Assembly, Senator Sweeney's book. This council carries a large amount of weight. We're often now saying, oh, it's not us. We move a resolution, and if the administration decides that it wants to disregard the council's concerns, then when the mayor needs something passed, this council has the authority not to move on those items. This is a give and take scenario here. The council has to hold hard to its authority. And when we understand that there's going to be ramifications that affect our communities, That means the people that depend on us to support the things that's beneficial to them, we have to hold hard to them. And this is a moment. It's a moment in time for you, Council President, to stand hard on certain things. Nothing makes the agenda without your consent. You're the person, you're the driver behind this thing right now, and you make the decisions that now move the city forward. Alongside, this is not just the mayor driving the city in a direction that he, God forbid, wherever we wind up, the council's at full, has the, not only the authority, but the responsibility. We can no longer sit on the side and say, well, hey, that's the mayor. No, we have equal role to play in this. The council has to stand hard. If this is something that everybody is resonating, that we think it should happen, then the council needs to stand together and make a decision and hold the mayor accountable to what we believe is best for our community. We can't just sit here and ride the pony, and then when the blame comes around, say, oh, well, it's the mayor, go see him on the second floor. We all bear the burden of responsibility. Decisions that we make collectively here affect this community just as much as the administration. So I'm gonna put that back on your shoulders, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman. You all are witness that my vice president said to take a page out of Sweeney's book. Do you all know who Sweeney is? Okay.
Council President.
We will move forward, Councilman, and I say this not jokingly, that is in the works, and I believe that as a council as a whole, if we have the support, we can do this. So, and we will do it, okay? Councilman Rivera, and then I'm going to ask for the next speaker, please. Councilman Rivera.
So I understand, Councilman Abdelaziz basically made it clear that we have not been part of the process to choose any of the projects. But what's disturbing is, as a council, I think we would have had, the administration would have had the courtesy at least.
To ask.
To not just to ask, to tell us what all these plans are all about, what ratables, they're gonna bring to the table. And to be honest, Council President, the only project that I'm somehow familiar with is the project from downtown, because I often came with Ernie Rucker and everybody else to this council meeting to watch the meetings. And we often spoke about how disturbing it is that the third largest city in the state of New Jersey doesn't have a hotel.
Right.
How it would have been advantageous when it comes to generating revenues. We would generate a hotel occupancy fee if we had a hotel here. I remember even when St. Joe's was proposing to have that hotel, we were all for it at the time, but it never came through. It is now 2019, we still don't have a hotel. As finance chair, I'm always concerned about ratables, right? And additional revenues that come in. And at the same time, putting the administration in a good financial situation to provide the services that are not being provided at this time. And I don't have to get into details because we all know where the shortfalls are at this city. I know, we're not supposed to act on emotion or anything like that, but we, just as a symbol, we have the authority as a council to just put a motion on the floor to show support for an individual project. And if we decide to go that route, we shouldn't blame anyone that's here in attendance. We should blame the mayor for not, for not keeping us in the loop of what is going on. There are some projects going on right now. We have a lot of questions, and we still haven't been provided any answers. The only reason we're even discussing some of them is because we need to enter into an agreement with the school district, which I think is very disrespectful. As a council, we need to be included in the things that are being done in the city. Even if the law doesn't require it, we're supposed to be transparent. What is interesting is council members here often complain all the time about past administration not including them in their plans. But it is amazing that once you get into that seat, the same thing continues. It's just very disappointing. When finance chair and again, a lot of colleagues here that have a lot of experience, we haven't seen the actual courtesy from the mayor to say, listen, let's have a sit down. This is what we're working on with the parking authority to bring to the city. This is how much rateable it's gonna generate. You know, we need to have a vision. And right now I'm questioning, you know, some of these projects because I don't know much about them. The only one that I'm familiar with is this one, and it's a shame. So, you know, I wouldn't mind entertaining. I don't like to act on emotion, but I would like to entertain a motion to give support from the council, you know, for this project.
So Councilman Rivera,
Second.
and I would definitely entertain that motion to be put on the floor, and if the council as a whole supports it, I would move forward to have our corporation council prepare a resolution to support, that the council supports this project. I can actually say that I want to support a project that's going to bring in jobs into the city of Paterson, all right? And with other projects that right now it's the talk, I have yet to see how many jobs. I heard maybe 80 apartments, but I don't know how that is, how many jobs that's going to produce. And so I hear someone has a number of 7, but with that said, I'm not in full support of that project only because I don't know enough about it and I have a lot of questions about it. But definitely, again, Councilman
President.
Rivera, I would definitely support on the floor the motion, and I guess I got a second from Councilman Jackson and
President.
Councilman Velez.
Council President,
Go ahead.
discussion, if you're entertaining a motion.
Councilman Abdelaziz.
I've spoken to the developer on this project. We're asking for the council to vote on a project that I did not see. I'm not saying I don't support it, but I did not see prints. I did not see that the only discussion I had is a verbal discussion. I would recommend not putting us on the floor and asking us to vote for something that I was not privy to the
Councilman,
information.
1 minute,
You
one
could
minute,
go with your
1 minute,
motion.
1 minute.
We can
Council-
wait for the next meeting, and I will gladly sit.
Councilman Abdelaziz, just so because you're saying something here that we're gonna vote on a project. That's not what Councilman Rivera was saying. That is not what he said. He didn't say we're
what's the
voting on
motion?
the project.
We
He
need to
said
know
he
the
wanted to
motion.
put actually, I don't need to speak for you.
Our vote is actually symbolic, right? It doesn't hold any grounds when it comes to the tax credit. Basically, what it is, do you want a hotel in downtown Paterson? Do you want a project that's gonna generate
400
additional ratables, right? Do you want a project that's gonna generate how many jobs?
400.
400 construction and 400 permanent.
Do you want a project that's gonna bring a hotel to the third largest city, a
So
stadium
what is it?
of 12,000 seating?
Arena.
Again, it doesn't hold anything, right? It's just symbolic to say that that's, you know, the council wants this project or is approve of a project of such in the downtown area.
we're
That's
not
what it
Council
is.
talking-
President, can I just share something in order?
Mr. B.A.
Sure. I think that this council will be setting a dangerous precedent to prematurely entertain such a resolution when it's an active solicitation right now that's currently undergoing. So you can do what you want, but I think that that sends the wrong message and would set a very dangerous precedent for you to pass such a resolution before any decision regarding the dissemination of tax credits is made. So I just think,
Council-
as a point of order, I'm not making the decision one way or another, but as the administrator for the city, I think this would be a very unusual step in a very current and active solicitation process.
Council President?
To show an active,
One
to
minute,
show a-
please, 1 minute, please, I'm gonna
Council
allow you
President.
to speak. I know you're gonna go Councilman Rivera and then Councilman Jackson.
So, I understand what you're saying, Mr. B.A., and you're not wrong about what you're saying. But we have the same scenario with the lease agreement from the district. We haven't gotten it. We just got the agreement today.
A draft.
We haven't even discussed it. Well, we haven't even discussed it. We've been rushed through this whole project, this whole process, right? You have going back to back meetings. Let me see, you have a planning meeting a day. Actually, you have the planning meeting set up before the city council approved the agreement, and the day before, the agreement is supposed to be approved by the school district. We don't know anything about it. We don't know what it's gonna generate. We haven't, no one has sat down with us and give us details of other questions. And again, we did say in finance that we were gonna have follow-up questions. But we're rushing this whole process too. And all I ask is that we at least, the administration at least has some courtesy to keep us on the loop, because the public here, the residents that pay taxes, they have questions for us. And the press that is here, the reporters that is here, they know how I get when I get a phone call from them, and I don't know what they're talking about, because the first time I hear of it is when they call me. So it's very disturbing. We were elected to serve the people and to make decisions on their behalf, and we're being disrespected.
So, Councilman, so what I want to say to you is this. We as a body, if there's one thing we can control, we have to vote on that lease agreement. So we have the up or down. So council members, please be aware. So just like you're saying, okay, if we don't agree with that lease agreement, that project doesn't move forward, point blank. So let us move forward. We have a few more, and I believe we have 6 more speakers, so why don't we move forward, okay?
You got a motion.
I can help you.
I'm sorry?
No, you can't remove it. You cannot remove the motion.
Okay, so 1
President.
minute. Councilman Jackson.
I just, for a point of clarity, because the BA is calling for a point of order, but this council, I didn't hear anyone say that this is the project that we're demanding the mayor to fulfill.
Right.
What we're saying is not to render a letter of support when this project is in a position to at least be heard. Without the letter of support, the project is dead. So we're not saying that the administration or the council should make a decision. Obviously, everything has a necessity for its due diligence. There's a vetting process. But if, without the letter of support, this project dies, it doesn't move forward. So they're, in fact, leading this council, to at least me, I'll speak for myself, to believe that the administration is looking to overstep this project for another, creating a position of an unfair playing field. If we're going to look at it from a perspective of we want to present each project and see which each project, their benefits, the pros and cons, we have to at least allow them to be able to come to the table to be presented. And without the letter of support, which they were the first to put the application in. So just the notion of not offering or rendering a letter of support speaks volumes from the mayor.
Councilman Jackson, I respect what you're saying, and I think a lot of the things that you said are not accurate in terms of the timetable and the first to submit. I don't want to get into those details right now. We can deal with that either through the Economic Development Committee or through the committee as a whole. So I think it's unfair to Alma and me and you and the administration to kind of go into the details and the timeline of what happened when. So at this point, I'll just stop there, and at the appropriate time, as Council President said,
Okay.
you can vote it up or down.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and
Yeah.
so I'm gonna continue to support.
Correct.
There's a motion on the floor by Councilman
I'm sorry, Council
Rivera,
President.
and there is a,
I'm sorry, I have to be heard before you,
okay.
before you call this motion. I know there's been a lot of things already said, but I want it to come from your attorney.
Okay.
My first concern about this motion is whether or not any of you can stand and prove to say that you've seen the things necessary to make this type of motion to support this project. And I say that not whether the project is good or not, but this symbol could later be used to say that this project was selected if the mayor chose to render a letter of support due to politics. So this good gesture could actually impede what it appears the people here are looking for. So I understand the council's will, but from a legal perspective, involving this level of political or usage of your political authority will not be seen if other people who are looking for these tax credits argue against. It will not be used favorably. It will be used to say that this was done for politics purely, and that is the reason why those things are done in the process that they are, that mayors issues letters of support, but ultimately the EDA makes those determinations to try to avoid that. And I'm sure you've all heard about everything going on in Camden. When politics get involved, even if it's for the betterment of the community, people start having issues. So I want to make that known. And I think that's the most important part. But the second thing that I don't want us to forget is our own rules, which does not allow us to put anything on the floor that wasn't advertised unless done so by consent of all the council members, unanimous consent.
So, Council President, can I ask a question to Corporate Counsel? About her statement?
Understood. Kat, this will be the last statement,
Last thing.
please.
Last thing. My project was submitted with 6 others in July of 2018 by this administration as required by the amendment made by the governor. So, I can understand the objections, although not good ones, and at the end of the day, the letter's not coming from you, so you have no obligation to do anything, and you can't be held responsible. You only come when it's time to pay the bills, unfortunately. You can move to support the original 6 projects as presented to the state.
I don't even know this.
Thank
If
you.
you're interested, thank you.
Thank you.
There was a technical question that went.
Council President?
At this time, Councilman Rivera, okay, I'm going to put a hold right now on that motion.
That's why I was going to ask
Councilman
to you.
Rivera? Councilman Rivera? I am going to put a hold, meaning like right now. I'd like to hear the other speakers, all right? And then we'll move forward. I think we are within our authority. Okay.
So can I ask a question to Corporate Counsel?
All right, let the record reflect that both councilmen are fasting and they're getting ready to break their fast. Go ahead. Okay.
Quick.
Councilman, can we proceed, please? And then we'll go back, please. I really
Yes,
would
let's do
like-
that, but just remind, when you come back with this question, just quick, if that's not violating the freedom of speech that I have on this council and the people wants, if we want to express ourselves what we want or what we don't want, if that don't violate freedom of speech and we want to put it in paper what we want to see or what we don't want to see, regarding the administration takes their position, because we want to express ourselves in a letter, the people are expressing themselves,
I
they
know.
cannot write a letter.
Councilman?
So, you know, I just want to ask
Councilman,
that.
duly noted, Councilman. Madam Clerk, next speaker, please.
Yes, Madam President. Next speaker is Mr. Lynch.
You go, girl. Good evening.
Good evening.
Well, I'm coming with my problem, not the workers' problem, my problem. Madam President, I have a problem in my community with 3 auto parts cars down there. I have 3 of them. I have 1 on Governor Street. I have 2 on Tyler Street. Plus, I have a tire place which caught a fire last Friday on Tyler Street. The problem we are having down there, we have nowhere to park. When the hell have you heard of a mechanic got 9 cars and he's still fixing cars? He parking them on the street. He parking, and I'm coming with evidence. I'm coming with evidence. And all we asking, something be done about this. Friday, it was emergency wagon coming up Tyler Street, which they couldn't get through because the people had to back trucks up the street out of the way so the emergency wagon could get through. This is a problem in that neighborhood. And I have pictures. We took pictures. They have cars down there with no license plates. They have cars in the handicap crosswalk. They have cars on the sidewalk. And what I understand, that they are paying the garbage company to pick up their garbage. Now, here's the garbage I took last Tuesday. The same garbage is still sitting there. Same garbage is still sitting there. Not only they had a car, they had a boat. They had a boat sitting on the sidewalk. Then Monday night, they brought in these things you ride on the water. They brought them in. So we want to know, who are these peoples? Where the hell did they come from, for one thing? That's what we want to know. And why can't something be done about it? The inspectors came, the inspectors was there, but nothing changed. Inspector can't sleep there, nothing changed. So if you want to look at these pictures, I have them, but I want them back, because these are going to be my evidence. And I have spoke about the trucks. Now, here's my concern. Mr. Spiegel said Reason the truck was coming because they was doing construction work. They not doing nothing down there, nothing. But what I'm saying to the city, you guys is paying Roselle, so you can tell him to stop bringing his garbage truck through that neighborhood at 5:30 in the morning. First it started with one. Now you got 5 or 6 coming through there every morning. You guys hired him. You guys have the right to tell him what to do. So that's what we are looking for. And about these trucks, if they can't be stopped, we're gonna start standing in the street and back traffic. We don't care where the hell it go. We're gonna stop them. It's gonna be stopped one way or another. This is what I'm asking you, and this is what I'm asking the city to do. Do something, not tomorrow, do something right now.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Madam President. Next speaker is Vladimir, Vladimir?
Valdemir?
Yeah.
Vladimir.
Valdemir?
What's the
Next
last
speaker, Madam Clerk.
Liz Cruz?
Liz Cruz.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good afternoon. My name is Elizabeth Cruz. and
Lower
I'm-
it, please. Lower it. There you go.
My name is Elizabeth Cruz, and I was born and raised in Paterson. I have been working with Alma Realty for over 8 years on both residential and commercial. I began working with Alma Realty at the age of 18 at the Center City Mall's information booth, while obtaining my GED at NJCDC. Throughout the years, I've worked my way up the ladder within Alma Realty and was promoted and moved into the office, and now I supervise 16 employees, 14 of which are Patersonian. I work, live, and study in my hometown. I am currently seeking my associates in business administration at Passaic County Community College and expect to graduate this December. The arena and the hotel project will provide hundreds of new jobs, which will give my classmates the same opportunity to live, work, and play here. I continue to take advantage of the opportunities created by Alma Realty and look forward to their continued investments, which I know firsthand will benefit our community. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, next speaker.
Yes, ma'am. Next speaker is Mr. Sosa.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Henry Sosa, Robert Street, 6th Ward. I have my prepared remarks tonight, but listening to what's going on tonight, I think I can just scrap those and just speak from the heart. Okay, first things first, I'm here in full support to lend my voice and my support for the arena and the hotel proposed by Alma Realty in downtown, and also in support of the commitment that Charles Florio has done to this city by employing nothing but Patersonians. What you see right here are the faces of Patersonians who have real jobs. Okay? These are living wages of people who were unemployed at a specific time, and right now, because of developers, local developers like Alma Realty and Primetime Realty, not only are these people employed, but they're able to now, some of them, own their own homes or learn a trade where they can actually fix their own home. So kudos to both of you guys. Another thing that I want to talk about, and Madam President, when we started to organize this meeting, okay, what I really wanted to do was actually filibuster the meeting and keep you guys until 4 a.m. But figures, you know what, we're going to limit the amount of people speaking, so we've limited to just under 10 people speaking, because I understand that you guys have a large agenda, and we don't want to do that. But next time that we come back, because we are coming back, okay, we are going to take no hostages. This is another thing that I wanted to talk about, and this is piggybacking on some of the things that Councilman Jackson talked about. You guys are two co-equal branches of government. And time after time after time, you guys allowed for the administration to give you what? Semantics. That's all it is.
Push back,
It's
please.
all semantics. Okay? They're telling you don't use politics. Well, guess what? All of those bodies from the state are nothing but politicians. That politicians telling them what to do and what not to do. You have to use the body for which you got elected for and enforce that. You shouldn't tell anybody from Trenton to tell you what you need to do or you don't need to do. Or guess what? Tell Governor Murphy to come here and legislate himself. They are the people. And you guys, all of you guys, should be listening to us, not to those damn Trenton politicians, not to your friends. Because guess what? We know about the backroom deals. We know about the backroom meetings. If they haven't gotten a letter of support, it's because the mayor intends not to give them any. So, I'm going to start with the Bill of Rights, right? We the people. We the people. And now I'm going to end with a part of the Constitution that empowers me, to do what you guys don't want to do. Two co-equal branches of government. Okay? Under the form of government that you guys are governed by, I have the power to grab my 5 people and create a committee. To grab 300 people that are here and go out and get signatures and wrap this Hinchcliffe program development, wrap it in legislation through a referendum. I am prepared to come back in 2 weeks with 5,000 signatures if we don't get a letter of support for this project. If not, I'm going to tie it up in a referendum, and neither project is going anywhere. Thank you.
Councilman Jackson?
You're leaving?
Okay.
We don't have a quorum.
Ming, we're gonna take a 5-minute recess. Madam Clerk, 5 minutes, sorry.
Yes, Madam President.
5 minutes. Madam Clerk, can we have our next speaker, please?
Yes, Madam President. Our next speaker on the public portion is Mr. Elvis Durham. Elvis?
Mr. Elvis Durham, 283 Broadway, 4th Ward. I came to speak about the arena and the hotel. I'm good now?
Yeah, just
Okay.
don't talk so close.
Okay. What I have to say about this, Paterson, New Jersey is the 3rd largest city in New Jersey. And we got the national park. We got a lot of things going on in the city right now. We got conventions. We got entertainment. Stars, R&B, hip-hop stars come to Paterson to perform. But where they stay at? They stay in Wayne. Who making the money? Wayne. It's no foot traffic downtown because we don't have no hotel. We got people coming here, but they spending their money where they stay at. They staying in Wayne or they staying in Newark. And Mr. McCall, hey, you listen? Hey, how you doing? I know that food's kind of good and everything, but please listen to me, because I do live here in the city of Paterson. I respect everybody. I love everybody. Okay. But what I'm trying to say is, We need this hotel. And I know the mayor, Mayor Andre Sayer, is watching. Mayor Andre Sayer could be, check this out. Joey Torres couldn't get the job done. Jeffrey Jones couldn't get the job done. The late Marty Barnes, my good friend, couldn't get the job done. He could be the first mayor in a decade to build a hotel with Center City Mall and this arena. I mean, don't let all these dumb other projects fool you. It's not going to benefit Paterson. How are you going to build a stadium, right, with apartments? You got to, when you build a stadium, you got to have a hotel because people is coming from out of town. People coming from different states. How in the heck you going to build a stadium with apartments? There's some bullcrap. It's crazy. Hiscup Stadium is not no good idea, not right now. We need jobs. A lot of people got to feed their family, okay? So that Hiscup Stadium project is stupid. We need the Center City project, and we need it right now. I remember Andre Sayer had told me back in December on the Masonic Temple, we're going to get a hotel. God heard him, and God is taking notes. A liar do not enter the kingdom of God. A liar do not enter the kingdom of heaven where God is at. So Andre Sayer, it's over 25,000 people watching this TV right now. We need a hotel, and we need that arena. People is hungry, we need jobs. And it will benefit the downtown area. So you taking notes? Y'all taking notes? My name is Elvis James Dorm. Write that down. Write that down. We need it. Do the right thing. Andre Sayer, do the right thing. Your staff, y'all do the right thing. Because if not, God is taking notes. God bless.
Madam Clerk, next speaker.
Yes, Madam President. Next speaker is Mr. Michael Jackson.
Hello, everybody. My name is Michael Jackson, Sr. I have a problem with the council. I have a problem with the council about our girls' league. They got outhouses. The field is not wired, not done. They don't cut the grass. We put bases in there that don't move. Will you use our house? Use our house. But yet, our good girls, and we don't care about them. We sit here, $1 million here, $1 million, we got 2 fields that you can't even take care of. Then you let somebody put in bases. From the beginning of the league, I said there can't slide, girls get hurt. And we sitting up here making all these decisions. Vaughn played here. I've coached here for over 30 years. It's never been this way. But we sitting up here worrying about everything else, but the good girls, we don't care about. We talk about $1 million here. You can't even put $10 in. We have portable bathrooms. We got part-time parks where you bring your family, and they got a home when they go to the bathroom. These are young ladies that is treated worse than anybody I see. And what we doing? Nothing. Don't line the field. We don't cut the grass. Our fields is horrible. Look at it. And here we are arguing over something, but the good girls, we slap on the face. Don't worry about it. And we do that to all the good children here. We don't care about the good ones. We worrying about everything else, but we got to do. So I want these young ladies and everything to come and go in that outhouse bathroom, play on the field. It's not anything to the field. And then you put something there that's not safe. And when I asked the league, they said, City of Paterson put it, they said we can't move it. So how dare you tell us that we can't move something that's not safe for our kids? And yet we up here making major decisions and our girls are suffering. And we're sitting here and everybody clapping and this, that. What about the good girls? 2 parks, that's all we have for them. And we can't even maintain it. We can't take care of it. Can't cut the grass, line the field. When I coached, we lined every field. We cut every grass, and it was maintained. You got softball men that got playgrounds and bathrooms, Riverside, Marshall Street. These are men that you take care of better than our good girls. But yet we can't do it. There is a problem with that. And I'd like somebody to tell me what is going on. But no answers, no answers. But yet you can give $1 million to people that don't live here. These are all girls that live here. They go to our schools. Their parents go there. We gotta sit in filth. We gotta sit there for their games, and we don't do nothing about it. I coached over 30 years. I came to this council one time before because I had to man the stadium that you didn't give me. Finally, you finally gave it. I had the only football team in town. And it shouldn't be where we gotta beg for our good girls to play. There's no way that you sit up here, make your decisions, and don't think about the good girls. Don't even think about the boys or anything. Football, about anything. You just do not think about all the good children. You're up here making decisions about everything else, but the girls and boys that need it, nobody with you. You don't mentor, we don't reach out. All you do is making the wrong decisions on whatever you're doing. But you gotta think about our young ladies and our young men. Something needs to be done. Take them bags out of the ground so our girls don't break their legs, and do something. Stop letting somebody fix our fields that say, oh, they're professional. Our girls don't know how to slide, but yet we sit there and make decisions. Something needs to be done. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Jackson, you mentioned
Council President.
2 fields. Are you talking about the field, North 9th and,
Talking about by School 4
Commons Field.
and Commons
Titus.
Field.
okay, Commons Field, is that the one on North 9th and Burhans?
Yes.
Okay, and what's the other one?
Titus.
Titus by School 4.
Okay, Mr. BA, can you please make a note? And can we get a report back through DPW? Okay, in terms of what Mr. Jackson just mentioned about the bags, about the portable,
Council President,
Councilman Jackson?
just for a point of clarity, and I apologize. I'm sure you guys see where I get my temperament from, and
No,
yeah,
he's not.
smiling. My mother's even worse, but what my father's talking about is over the weekend, Mr. BA, probably the entire season, he's been complaining to our director that the stationary bags are not on the level for midget league softball. And he mentioned it to the director no more than 2 minutes after a very, very, very good athlete slid into the bag and she almost broke her ankle. She's now recovering. It is a very, very bad sprain. I happened to talk to her father, who was a city employee. A few years ago, we had another young lady who came and slid into home plate. She broke her leg, and she was a very highly sought-after athlete. That was big-time basketball player. She played at Kennedy, but she broke her ankle leading into sliding into home plate. So what we're trying to do is make sure that we prevent injuries and put the proper equipment and outfit those fields with facilities that's acceptable. But more importantly, making sure that we protect the integrity of the game for these young girls who don't know how to slide into a stationary bag. They're not major league players, so although 1 or 2 teams may make an attempt to teach girls how to slide, all the teams don't do it. And listen, it was a very scary moment to see that young lady on the ground crying, and she had to be rushed off to the hospital. Thank you, Chief, for sending the paramedics. So she had to go to the hospital. Any one injury is more than enough. But when we have an athlete of her caliber, and this young lady could really play, Mr. B.A., we would appreciate her game. She's, in fact, she's scheduled to go to Wisconsin or something for basketball, as a basketball prospect. She is a very good player, major player. And if she would have broken her leg, it would have been a tragedy. So I'm glad she's not hurt. And Council President, that is Titus Field as well as Commons Field, but all the fields.
Right.
We're going to talk about all the fields, even the fields that our young men play on. And as Councilman Abdelaziz just mentioned, I don't know if my father's completely aware, but we will have a new softball field at Buckley, and hopefully, those facilities will be suitable so that we prevent
Okay.
injuries as well.
Thank you very much, Councilman Jackson. Mr. BA, you've noted. Okay, very good. Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Thank you. Madam Clerk,
Yes,
last
Madam.
speaker?
Yeah, not Mr. Jackson. Last but not least, Ms. Mohammed.
With God's name, good evening.
Good evening. First of all, I have the task of presenting to you a letter that was dictated by former Councilwoman Vera Ames, so that we will leave here tonight knowing exactly what it is that she's expecting. She says, first, I would like to apologize to the city of Paterson for any confusion street naming gesture may have been caused. Yes, I did say I did not want a street named after me. Also, I do not want you to think that I am not capable of making decisions. I did inform Councilwoman Ruby Cotton that I was interested in Wrigley's Park because I initiated putting the sprinkler playground in that park. Councilwoman Cotton always stated something big was coming. What that is, I do not know. After devoting 51 years of my life to this community that I've served, I would like for whatever it is you choose to do for me to be something that would be remembered as my legacy. I have always worked for the people, and I want to be remembered for the work that I've done. Fame and fashion is not it. Everyone has a Vera Ames story. Now that you know what it is that I am looking forward to, do not think that I would disrespect this city by not acknowledging or appreciating your efforts. Through all the achievements, being the first African-American woman to represent the Fourth Ward, being the first African-American in northern New Jersey to go into the New Jersey Hall of Fame, for elected officials for 20+ years of service, being the only council person to hold a seat for 25 years, and the only one to receive over 250 plaques, awards, and certificates. I never felt worthy because of the fact that I have not been acknowledged by the African Parade. With the correction to that, she has never held the title of Grand Marshal, although they did honor her with the honorary. She says, I humbly thank and appreciate all that are working to make this effort come true. Naming Wrigley Park in my remembrance for me is what I want. Submitted, former Councilwoman Vera Dean Ames. So, we all know now what it is that Councilwoman Ames is looking forward to, and I'm here to say, along with Ms. Thompson, to ask you all to please go ahead and do this and make it happen for Councilwoman as soon as possible. Now, the other thing, of course, I have to do this because we do have a fundraiser coming up for the Grandparents Relative Care Resource Center. It's going to be June 21st. It's going to be at Lanive's. It is our 6th annual awards dinner, and it's 7 to 11. The tickets are only $50. Mojo is our DJ entertainment for the evening. Now, I didn't bring the actual tickets because I don't want to waste your time or mine, but those of you that want to continue to support us, I will bring you whatever amount of tickets you tell me. And of course, I do have yours, Councilman McCoy, because your wife has already told us that she will be supporting it, so I know you're going to do whatever it is she tells you. But the rest of you, I will bring you whatever is needed so that you can come and enjoy that evening with us. But I do want to say quickly, I'm really disappointed that we didn't follow Councilman Jackson's lead in this judge. But I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to see whether or not he's going to get in there and do something. And then I'm not going to stand here and be nice when I heard you all say to give the man the benefit of the doubt, okay? So I thank you, and God bless.
So if I may, just quickly, before you leave, because she is not here to speak for herself, but I will speak on her behalf. Councilwoman Cotton has been in constant conversation, and she specifically told me and shared, I know, with Councilman Kalik, because I know there's been a lot of, why are you not doing anything for Vera Ames? Why are you not doing anything for Councilwoman Ames? And she had mentioned to us exactly what the letter states, that she did not want a street named after her, but the park. And I know that the conversation started with an entity in the city of Paterson because of the renaming of that park, and there is some
legal stuff.
some legalities there that I know that are being worked on, okay? So please send her our regards and let her know that it is in the works and we want to do it sooner than later. So, Mr. Bay, I'm going to ask only just to look into, I believe is, what's his name, Archimedes? No, John Franco? John Franco does the preservation historic? I believe John Franco said, he made a statement, he's aware, but I think there's something, and I don't know what it exactly is in terms of historic, something with the name. I don't know if it's written that it can't be changed, I'm not exactly sure, but if you can please look into that so then we can move forward, okay? All right, thank you, have a good night. And I'll be talking to you about invitation, okay?
Okay.
I'm available
Thank
June
you.
21st.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Clerk?
There is no more speaker, Madam President.
Madam Clerk, it
Yes,
is
ma'am.
my understanding that Mr. Freeman, who's raising his hand like he's in school, said he
Okay,
signed
sorry.
in. Did,
I didn't see his name. He was unable.
but they were on the list, what happened? Okay, so I'm gonna, you can't go over your 3 minutes, okay? I am going to give you the presidential, I'm gonna give you the presidential courtesy, all right? So please give me the courtesy in 3 minutes,
Yes,
please.
ma'am. Yes,
Please
ma'am.
put your name into the record.
Okay. Kimmy Freeman, 3rd Ward, Paterson, New Jersey. I wanted to speak about what I spoke about last week, the 21st Ave, turning the two-way into one-way. I took it upon myself to go to East 19th Street and 21st Ave, and what I did was I counted every car. Now, I wanted to be out there 3 hours, something like that. Nobody's paying me to do this. I did it on my own, fruition. From 3:15 p.m. to 5 p.m., I counted 815 cars. Not only that, I witnessed about 5 accidents of people turning left on East 19th Street, hitting pedestrians. I didn't even count the cars that were going from Summer Street to Madison Ave. That would have been about at least 750 cars. I gotta recruit somebody else to count those cars. Now, I came into the last city council meeting, and I told you, I got 19 years of driving experience in Paterson. I also have a relative that lives in the Governor Towers, and that's why I told Lewis I was a little upset with him because I wasn't aware of the meeting. I wanted to be at that meeting. In fact, I talked to my aunt a day before that meeting happened because my cousin who lives in the building on State Street and Great Street have 2 cousins live in that building. They live in that building ever since it was built. And that was about 7 years ago. I went to a party there and I asked them what did they think. Now I think on 20th Ave, you don't need to change anything. It's 21st Ave, you have to change. And what I did was, not only count the cars, I went to the business owners. Got 1 no out of them. Now, since I did that, there were some council people that called me or I called them, and we had a debate. And they were saying, well, there's people who've been there forever and there's no parking for them. Well, guess what? 30 years ago, everybody had 1 car. Now we have 2 cars. On 21st Ave, from East 19th Street, really from Martin Street all the way up, you have new businesses for the past 10 years. I'm gonna count every single business because you have businesses wall to wall, all the way up to East 24th Street. I talked to a young Latino woman at the last business I went to. It was a medical center. She was about 23, 24 years old. So I told her what I was doing. She said, oh, this is a great idea. And then she said, on Thursday nights, Friday nights, Saturday nights. Now, I didn't even think about doing anything at night. I just did stuff during the rush hour. He says it's even worse. Now, a certain council person says, oh, we're going to do a professional survey. Well, guess what? Counting cars, you don't have to be a professional to do this. You don't have to be a professional to do a survey. Now, your street engineer, the traffic engineer that you have, I'm not impressed with him over this past couple of years anyway. I'm a professional car driver. I drive all the time. You want to know how bad traffic is? Ask the cab drivers who do this for a living and do this 24/7. Okay? Now, I'm getting ready to leave, but the thing is, you need to think that. I haven't finished my survey, and I was kind of discouraged to continue. But I'm going to do this anyway, because I think the benefit of many outweighs the needs of the few. All right? And I'm going to say that. I'm going to talk to that little old lady that came before you, too. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Can I have a motion to close the public portion?
Second.
Move to close the public portion by Councilman Abdelaziz, second by Councilman Velez. Roll call to close the public portion of the regular meeting.
Yes, Madam President. Roll call to close the public portion. Councilman Abdelaziz. Councilman Jackson.
Yes.
Councilman Khalid.
Yes.
Councilman McCoy.
Yes.
Councilman Mims.
Yes.
Councilman Rivera.
Yes.
Councilman Velez.
Yes.
Madam President.
Yes.
So the vote is 8 in favor, 1 absent. Public portion is now closed.
Thank you very much. Council members, we have a few items left.
The item. Madam
As an
President.
FYI, item number 32 has been removed to the June 5th meeting. Madam Clerk, I'm going to take item number 28 on the non-consent agenda.
Madam President, if I may,
We
can
need to
Phyllis
add-
hand out the item number 33 to be voted onto the agenda? Would you like to do?
That is correct.
She's gonna
I'm-
hand
I'm
those out. to
Sorry,
this
hold
time.
on a minute.
Number 33.
Council members, there is an item that came before us. Councilman, our finance chair did call me. If we all support it, we'd like to put it on the agenda. So we need to vote it on the agenda, and then we need to vote on it. Can I have a motion to,
Madam President, may I read the addendum in the record first?
okay,
Yeah, I will do that first. Okay. An addendum. Dear Honorable Council members, the following resolution is also scheduled for your consideration at the regular meeting of the Municipal Council to be held on Tuesday, May 28, 2019 at 7 p.m. in the Council Chambers, 155 Market Street, Paterson, New Jersey. Item to be voted onto the agenda. Item number 33, resolution. Resolution authorizing the award of contract under Morris County Cooperative Pricing Council contract number 53 for the purchase and installation of fencing, gates, and accessories, as well as for emergency repairs for various locations throughout the city of Paterson for the Department of Public Works. Public Works Resolution 19324.
Move.
okay, move to add to the agenda item number 33 by Councilman Velez, second by Councilman Abdelaziz. Roll call to add item
Discussion.
number 30.
Discussion.
Not yet. We're gonna vote it in and then we can
I'm
discuss
not,
it.
I can't vote to put something on the agenda that needs a unanimous vote
Okay,
without having a discussion first.
okay, Councilman Jackson.
Where are the locations?
So can I clarify something?
Councilman Flavio Rivera.
So back in September of last year, some of the people that utilize our parks, especially Marshall's one of them, and I'm sure, I'll tell you how this resolution came about. There's a netting in the back of Marshall Street that I, informed DPW that it would be a liability if one of those kids get hurt. They have like a little playground, and when you hit a foul ball, the balls land in that park. In that section of the playground. You also have a lot of backstops. There's a lot of fence that need to be repaired throughout the city. The reason we put this today is because the resources have been available for a while, but because it wasn't handled in a timely manner, if we wait for another month to put this through, they're gonna start doing their work probably sometime in July, right? That's almost the end of, of the leagues, most leagues. These resources are available. The DPW director submitted this to purchasing without any bids, any quotes. So what the purchasing agent did is he utilized this co-op, which we often use. It's called Morris County Co-op. Basically, this is just to expedite the repairs that the DPW director wanted, get done. This is why we're putting this on the agenda.
Council President?
Councilman Abdelaziz?
Yeah, just to piggyback on Councilman Rivera, Councilman Jackson, I think this resolution should have been submitted early on of last year. It's for all parks. So for instance,
For all parks.
if there's a fence at Buckley that needs to be done, they'll do it. If Commons Field, I know throughout the years dealing with athletics, your fences get kicked, they get pushed on, there's gonna be people break the fence. This just allows DPW to call the contractor, come in, repair it before the hole gets bigger or the issue gets worse. So that's, I think it's definitely needed.
To add to that, I believe the fire department, I don't know if you're aware, Chief, but the fire department, knowing the condition of putting a mobile, actually offer, I was told by some people in the community, offer to repair, do some repairs to the fencing there. I don't know to what extent, but at least, the fire department acknowledge, maybe that, there's a firehouse right across the street. So I guess they do utilize that park and they know in what condition it's in. I'm not sure what resources they're planning to use, but there's a need throughout the city. If the resources are available, we shouldn't put things, off for later. That's just my personal opinion.
So Councilman Jackson?
Which part are you referring to across the street from the fire?
Putnam and Oval.
The backstop have issues.
The issue I have, Councilman,
Yes.
and more than happy to render support for this council because as, collectively, obviously our efforts are needed. But we approved over $1 million, if I'm not mistaken, maybe a year and a half ago, for the fencing in the bottom of Mill Street, Mill and Van Houten, I believe that is, of over $1 million. Yet the work has yet to be done. And, there's a number of different fences I just would like to have seen accompanied with this reso, a list of specified locations that are being considered, so we can have, just like, it's much like the road surfacing. We're voting to approve this money, and yet we have no input and no say on where it's being delegated. There's a city-owned property on the corner of Arch and Presidential, which I've been urging and begging for the economic development director to do something with. Now that it's been run over by a car, somebody continues to dump on it. I don't get paid to clean this space. We've been cleaning it over a half dozen times. Why of course, our economic development director, who doesn't live in the city, doesn't have to look at these types of things. So I would have liked to have seen this, it to be a little more responsible and have a list attached so we know exactly where. And lastly, furthermore, it doesn't take rocket science to put up a fence. We're going to outsource this now to a third-party company, and I understand that we got to begin to get out of this whole notion of us not having the capacity to dig a small hole and put a post in the ground. It's not that difficult, but I'll let it rest there. I mean, I understand the need, so we're ready to move forward.
So are you okay to move forward to vote it on? Okay, Madam Clerk, roll call to add. I'm sorry, Councilman McCoy?
This is being submitted by DPW, right?
Correct, Billy, and this was a request today, okay?
My phone is not off.
Oh, I'm sorry, you were not CC'd in the email?
No.
So I'm gonna apologize for that. Unfortunately, today I left my phone, so I didn't see the email. I had requested for the email to be submitted and to CC Madam Clerk, and so there was a phone call to me, so I do apologize. That is my bad.
It's not your bad, Council President. It rests squarely on the director. And this is not the first time, or the first,
Round.
the first exception. I don't like to feel funny, but I'm starting to feel funny.
Okay.
And that's not a good thing, because I tell well, I'm not going to give you my philosophical view tonight, but I'm starting to feel funny about this relationship.
Okay.
And I hope that it gets turned around very quickly. So I have no problem with the resolution. I think it's a blanket resolution that allows for us to do the work as needed, wherever we need it. I'm hopeful that the dog park is a part of this, because that fence was run over. The water is yet to be connected there, and the grass needs to be cut, and the property needs to be maintained.
Mr. BA, you
but
making
we
a
will-
note of all of this?
So we will,
Okay.
we'll address those things going forward.
All right,
Thank
so Councilman, once again, you know, and I do, I understand what you're saying, and you're correct, but I'm taking fault for this, because I did ask for the request, as I always do, to defer to the chair, and because it was Tuesday and it was hours before the meeting, I didn't have my phone to check my email.
No problem, no problem.
Okay. Okay, so Mr. BA, please make notes on Councilman McCoy's recommendations and suggestions. Madam Clerk, roll call to add number 33. It was moved by Councilman Abdelaziz and second by Councilman Velez.
Yes.
Roll call to add item number 33 to the regular agenda.
Yes. Roll call to add item number 33 to our regular meeting agenda of May 28, 2019. Councilman Abdelaziz.
Yes.
Councilman Jackson.
Yes.
Councilman Kalik.
Yes.
Councilman McCoy.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mims.
Yes.
Councilman Rivera.
Yes.
Councilman Velez.
Yes.
Madam President.
Yes.
The vote is 8 in favor, 1 absent. Item number 33 is hereby added to our regular meeting agenda, May 28, 2019.
Roll call, Madam Clerk, on item number 33.
So, do we have to move it?
I have to read.
I'm sorry.
the title.
Can I have a motion to move item number 33?
May I read the title into? Next item is item number 33. Item number 33 reads resolution authorizing the award of contract under Morris County Co-op Pricing Council Contract number 53 for the purchase and installation of fencing, gates, and accessories, as well as for emergency repairs for various locations throughout the city of Paterson for the Department of Public Works. Public Works Resolution 19324.
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Abdelaziz, second by Councilman Velez. Roll call on item number 33 for approval.
That's okay.
I'm sorry, what happened? Did I miss something? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Madam President. Roll call in item number 33 for approval.
He moved it.
Councilman Abdelaziz. Councilman Jackson. Councilman Kalik. Councilman McCoy. Councilman Mims. Yes. Councilman Rivera.
Yes.
Councilman Velez.
Council President, I just want to remind that this will address the numerous complaints that we receive from those leagues on Marshall Street and River Street, and especially Oval
Putnam
Park.
Oval.
Yes, so this is going to be addressing those issues. So my vote is yes.
Thank you. Madam President,
Yes.
the vote is 8 in favor, 1 absent. Item number 33 is hereby adopted.
Very good. Madam Clerk, I'd like to take
Number 28.
the last item on the non-consent agenda, that is item number 28. Can you please read it into the record?
Yes, Madam President. Next item is item number 28, and item number 28 reads, resolution dedicating the Paterson Fire Headquarters located at 300 McBride Avenue as the Bill Pasquale Jr. City of Paterson Fire Headquarters, sponsored by Council President Marisa Davila and co-sponsored by all members of the Municipal Council. City Council Resolution 19319.
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Abdelaziz, second by Councilman Velez and Councilwoman Mims. Roll call to approve item number 28.
Roll call to approve item number 20. Councilman Abdelaziz.
Yeah, before I vote, I was with the congressman this Monday, and then the mayor announced that we were going to consider naming the firehouse after our congressman. We all know he's a Paterson fighter. I always take great pride that he is originally a South Paterson kid in 6th Ward, Buffalo Ave, and that gives a lot of pride to our kids in the city of Paterson, especially in the 6th Ward, that maybe one day someone from our area will be a congressman or from our great city. He's always fighting. Until this day, he is fighting what's going on in Washington, and I'm proud to be on the council to support this, and it's definitely well-deserved for the fighter that Paterson has in our corner, and that's our great congressman, and my vote is yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Jackson.
Yes.
Councilman Khalid. Councilman McCoy.
Yeah, the congressman lives in the 3rd Ward, Councilman. And so we're proud of the work that he has done. I think this is a very fitting tribute, given the support that he has brought to Paterson with our fire department, the Schaefer grants, and other resources. And I think it would make our city proud. My vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilwoman Mims.
I believe it's very important to give flowers while people can smell them. And so we really appreciate Congressman Pasquale and all he does. And he definitely lives in the 3rd Ward. He's been my neighbor all my life. And my vote is definitely yes.
Thank you. Councilman Rivera.
Congressman Pasquale has done so much work and has helped so many people in this city that even the non-speaking, English-speaking residents, you ask them who Pasquale is, and they definitely know who Pasquale is. So well-deserving, and my vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Velez.
You know, even that he didn't live in the 5th Ward, but that's okay. But I noticed here in the resolution that says Bill Pasquale Jr., but his correct name is William James Pasquale Jr.
That's how he wants it.
So, what?
That's how he wanted it.
That's how you want it?
Yes.
Oh, I just want to,
I wouldn't do it
political
any
correct.
other way.
All right, so you want to Bill Pasquale. All right, I just want to make sure that his own name is
Go ahead, Councilman.
noticed.
We almost ready to go.
Yeah, if I say something that is contradicting, so, at least I put it up in the record.
Okay.
I already knew he wanted it.
Come on.
At least the word honorable will be there. Just kidding. My vote is yes.
Thank you. Madam President.
So before I vote, I wanna put this on record. There's an individual in this room right now, and he's standing in the back of the room, and that is our chief of fire. And it is because our chief of fire who came to me a few months ago, sort of mentioned this to me, and at the time we said, let's hold off. We revisited again, and I thought it was how best to have the entire council be the co-sponsor. So I need to give you kudos, Chief McDermott. I know that the fire department, all the men and women were in full support of this, and when you asked for it to be reconsidered again, we moved forward with it. So I want to thank you, because I know that we know who our congressman is, and he's definitely one of our fighters, and he continues to be. I always pray for him, for his health, but I know that soon he'll be passing the baton to someone, and this is one way for us to show our gratitude towards him, something that will be for the rest of our lifetime. So I just want to thank you. What I am going to ask and put on record is that you consult with the sponsor of the resolution to make sure that the council can be at the dedication. As in the past, there's been some other stuff we have sponsored, but yet we have no say on when this dedication will be. So I am going to ask that please consult before we set the date. So, Madam Clerk, this is a council function, all right? And so I look forward to being part of it. Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you, Madam President. The vote is 8 in favor, 1 absent. Item number 28 is hereby adopted.
Thank you very much.
You're
Council members, if we could just move on right now. We have,
Council President, I just remind me that you say that at the end of the public portion and everything, we was going to entertain the motion of Flavio Rivera. Don't forget about that.
no, we're not. Just 1 second, okay?
All right.
We won't get to that in a minute. Council members, there's no public hearing on first reading ordinances, so I'm gonna go ahead and move forward to, take number 4 and number 5.
Council President, I'm going to ask if we would defer on number 5 until we have a further review. In looking at the description doesn't match up with what was being asked.
Okay.
So I'd like that to go back to
Committee?
committee.
Okay, Madam Clerk, please remove number 5. We're sending it back to committee,
Thank you.
okay?
Yes, item number 5 for first reading, okay.
Yeah, we're gonna remove it, bring it back to committee.
Okay.
And then I'll let you know when it'll be released for workshop, if we decide to release it. Madam Clerk, can you please read into the record, item number 4 for first reading?
Yes. Next item on the agenda is our first reading ordinance. No public hearing is required, and ordinance number 4 reads, ordinance establishing a no stopping or standing zone on Grand Street between New Street and Morris Street, Department of Public Works.
Which one is that?
Can I have
Number
motion?
4.
This is a no stopping or standing zone on Grand Street between New Street and Morris Street. Do I have a motion? Moved by Councilman Abdelaziz. Do I have a second?
Second?
Second by Councilman Jackson. Roll call, Madam Clerk, on item number 4 for first reading.
Roll call on item number 4 for first reading. Councilman Abdelaziz? Yes. Councilman Jackson?
Yes.
Councilman Kalik? Yes. Councilman McCoy?
Yes.
Councilman Mims? Yes. Councilman Rivera?
Yes.
Councilman Velez?
Yes.
Madam President?
Yes.
The vote is 8 in favor, 1 absent. Item number 4 is hereby adopted on first reading. Second reading will be held at the next regular meeting, June 11, 2019, at 7 p.m.
Okay, Madam Clerk, can you please take, for second reading, item number 3, the public hearing is now open for item number 3. Have a second?
Second?
Move to close the public hearing on item number 3.
Madam President, may I read item number 3 into the record first, please?
I thought we could just open it and then you.
No, I didn't read it.
Go ahead, Madam Clerk.
Next item is item number 3 for second reading. Item number 3, ordinance addressing retention of off-duty police pursuant to Paterson Code, Section 81-56, to now authorize that administrative and vehicle fees may be waived if officer compensation is provided by a government entity. Police Ordinance 19028. Is there a motion?
Have a motion?
Move.
Can I have a second? Moved by Councilman Jackson, second by Councilman Abdelaziz. The public hearing is now open.
Second?
Move to close the public hearing on item number 3 by Councilman Abdelaziz, second by Councilman Jackson. Roll call to close the
Discussion.
public hearing.
Oh, all right, we're on.
Roll call to close the public hearing of item number 3.
Roll call to close the public hearing. Item number 3, Councilman Abdelaziz.
Yes.
Councilman Jackson.
Yes.
Councilman Kalik.
Yes.
Councilman McCoy.
Yes.
Councilman Mims. Councilman Rivera. Councilman Velez.
Yes.
Madam President.
Yes.
The vote is 8 in favor, 1 absent. Public hearing is hereby closed on item number 3.
Okay. Before we roll call, there's a discussion. Councilman Abdelaziz?
Thank you, Council President. So, this ordinance right now is something that I'm leaning towards supporting, but there's an incident that happened last night that really has made me raise a red flag on what goes on in the city. Last night, around midnight, I was heading home from our Ramadan prayers, and I came, through the 3rd Ward onto Lakeview Ave, down by the bonfire. And to my right on Alabama Ave, I saw about 175 individuals on Alabama Ave in the side road behind the food fair. Never seen anything like that in my entire life in the city of Paterson. Smoking, music blasting, cars parked, dancing in the middle of the road. It was an unauthorized festival that I saw that happen out there. And I've been getting numerous complaints about that area because Maryland Ave's on the next block. So I pull over. Actually, I called the cops. Then I called my colleague, Councilman Rivera, who lives about 4 blocks up, and I said, hey, get out of the house, get in my car, because I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I needed somebody to see what I was seeing. Councilman Rivera came in the car, and he'll attest to seeing what we saw. We went through the belly of the beast. We drove through. We saw these individuals didn't care what was going on. No regard for the law in the city of Paterson. They even offered, Councilman, they even offered us a drink as we drove by. So my concern now is these individuals are not stupid. They know what's going on. They read the news, they read the newspapers. And my concern is now, does this problem move from one area of the city just to another area of the city? So now we're going from Eastside Park, so the residents in Elmo Park could sleep well at night, but now the residents on Maryland Ave and the residents on Alexander Hamilton, the Heritage Complex, can't sleep well at night.
Council President.
We need, just Council President, let me finish. We need a plan. I think this is the right way to do it, to be creative and take their money so we could put some off-duty cops or overtime cops to solve the quality of life issues. And I was with my colleague last night. We need to do this not just at Eastside Park. There's a priority amongst this council, which I think is unanimous, that we all deal with issues of loud music in the city of Paterson. And we have to think outside the box. And I'm going to urge the council to stand. I think we should come up with a plan, the council, by putting a quality of life unit on the weekends. Because I guarantee you every single council person, including the mayor himself, gets calls about loud music. The low priority calls, and we've all heard that these are low priority calls, they have to get attention also. Because what happens is this problem moves to a certain area, and then we lose the neighborhoods that are that we neglected or we call low priority. I think if we're going to move with this, this needs to be joint at the hip with a quality of life unit that's going to be throughout the city. I think I'm urging that we find the money in the budget through the administration to put that overtime money for the calls of loud music and designate it just for quality of life on the weekends, just like we're doing in Eastside Park. If the residents of Elmo Park deserve it, damn right the residents of the city of Paterson deserve to have a good night's sleep. And that's why I'm going to ask this administration, and if the administration doesn't want to do it, council, we have the power to allocate funds and designate that. I've spoken to the chief. I'm going to yield to the finance chair who deals with the money. And it's long enough that it's now the time for this council to do something for the residents. And the director's not as that, because I was out, what time last night, Councilman? We were out there about, midnight, 12:30, 1 o'clock. My wife was yelling at me. She said, get home before we get hurt or council. So
all right.
We need a plan in place, Council President.
Okay.
I'd like to Councilman Rivera to explain what he saw also.
Right. I'm going to, before Councilman Rivera, because Councilman Jackson did ask for the floor first. Do you want to yield, or do you want to?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Take the first bite. Give him a chance to rebuttal. Well, Councilman Abdelaziz, if your wife is ever concerned about your safety, I am customarily up after midnight. You can give me a call. I'll be happy to come out there with you guys just as a form of extra protection.
You have a black belt?
I'm sorry?
Black belt?
No, it's brown tonight, but listen, Councilman, and I hear you loud and clear. And Mr. B.A., Mr. Director, there is a overall sense of lawlessness that's running rampant through our city right now. You have motorcycles four-wheelers, no helmets, up one-ways, you know, and this council has to make a decision because we have taken the authority out of the hands of the police to be in open pursuit, or at least to administer the law. But what this resolution does, Councilman, it allows for that area at least not to have to consume or already overburdened police department and focus in just on that area. It's much along the lines of what I said we needed to do on Union Avenue, but we have not been able to cross the road because the owners of the establishments are ABC license holders. So they've been unable to contract that needed support from the police department, which would eventually alleviate if we required these spots to, especially when there's business that's being made. You know, you got food trucks over there. Well, I mean, customarily there are, and but if we had these situations going on, you could potentially bring on another 10, 15 officers that are off duty that can aid and assist. Obviously, we know if an officer is an officer 24 hours a day. God forbid something major would happen, that officer could leave that post and go assist. So this is a good thing, and I think that we need to adapt some of these practices throughout the city because we need additional support. I mean, I could give you 3 or 4 areas in the first ward that I know you live in the luxury of the 6th and you want to come over into the 3rd and do business. But no, I think this is a great deal. We need to make sure that we can support this and not only support this effort. I agree with Councilman Rivera. It is very embarrassing. But we as a community need to come together and figure out how do we want our police to handle these matters. We have to put that back in their hands and allow them to cure this lawlessness, because whether it's just from throwing a piece of trash out your window to ultimately putting together a undisclosed after party out in the middle of the street, lawlessness is lawlessness. You're riding motorcycles without helmets. We have to do something about this. So thank you, Council President.
Okay. Thank you very much, Councilman Jackson. Councilman Rivera?
Very brief. Councilman Abdelaziz gave a good recap of what went on. Just forgot to mention there was a lot of alcohol being consumed. I was hoping that the police would show up and issue a lot of summons. We have to change the culture here. I keep saying it. When you start hitting these people with summons, they're going to stop doing this. But if there's no consequences to their action, then they're going to continue to do it. It's simple as that. It is that simple. When I got elected, I said, you know what, I'm tired of hearing excuses. So when people approach me, I don't want to give them another excuse. I'm going to try to find a solution. So, I was very vocal about this whole agreement. I said, is it worth getting all this attention for about $6,000 from another town? You could see it both ways. There's a lot of people that are for it. There's a lot of residents that have reached out to me. People that will say, wow, that person feels that way too. And said, look, Flavio, you're right. I see that as an embarrassment of us not being able to handle our own, enforcement in the city. Having a city offers about, I'm throwing a number because if you do an estimate, it's about $6,000, more or less. I don't think it's worth the attention. Right now, the police department spends over $2 million in overtime. When you get out of the 300 and something officers that they have there, if you just grab 50 of them, the highest 50 overtime earners, they earn over $1 million. 50 people earn over $1 million, which is amazing. Why am I saying this? It's not to say something negative about the police department because they work hard, and I believe those that are earning the overtime, they're working, but we need to analyze our resources and allocate them accordingly. I'm not an expert in the area, so I took the time to speak to our director, who has a lot of years of experience, and I said, Director, what could we do? Director, if you don't mind coming to the podium after I speak, maybe you could give some recommendation. But I also spoke to Councilman Abdelaziz to put an end to this excuses that we often hear that services are not being provided because we don't have the resources. In this situation, we have the resources. We just have to plan better. What we thought of doing, Councilman Abdelaziz and I, and after the discussion, after we discuss with SPCL, with the director, we're gonna, tweak it a little to make it work better. But if we do, and this is a conversation I had with Councilman Abdelaziz, if we assign someone from Friday to Sunday, and you don't have to be the same detail, but we had this discussion, Friday to Sunday, overtime from 10 to 3 o'clock in the morning, and let's see a possibility for the police department not to use one of their high-pay employees, because this is not off-duty work, what I'm suggesting. I'm suggesting overtime work,
Sure.
right? And it's just for a short period of time for the summertime. That way, those officers that we have will just be assigned for quality of life issues.
Sure.
I'll let you speak now, but I just want to bring up this topic also. And I wasn't put here to, some people are going to get upset about what I'm about to say. But in my observation, this whole hotspot thing have to be reevaluated, because I drove by 10th Avenue last night, right after this took place, and I noticed people, businesses are closed at 12:30. I passed through there at 12:30. People were hanging out outside, but the disturbing part is, when you look at the side streets, people were hanging out in the side streets. So this whole theory that we're gonna address the quality of life issues, I'd rather see them, I'd rather don't see them hanging out at all, disturbing the peace. But if I'm gonna have people hanging out, if we can address it the way we're not addressing it now, I'd rather have them in a commercial area than having in the neighborhoods where people are usually sleeping. So I just want to throw that out there, and I'll let you speak now, Director, please.
I'm going to address a couple issues. First, the East Side Park issue. Some of those people are from Elmwood Park, believe it or not, that come into our parks, and most of them, there's a good portion that are from Elmwood Park that are creating those disturbances. Yes, does it disturb some of the Elmwood Park residents? Sure does, but it also disturbs Paterson residents. As far as the area, we went out and wrote over 1,700 tickets, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We didn't expect the food truck to be there on Monday. You called me, it wasn't there. Was it displacement from Eastside Park? Very well could have been. I came out, others came out, we went there, cleared the area. I've been there 100 times myself when the food truck is there. They set up shop there. I don't know if that's displacement, because it's the first week that we started with Eastside Park. So, we had talked about with Elmwood Park, if that displacement after we started, because they have to give tickets in that Eastside Park detail, and they have to fill out a sheet. So we talked about the fact that if it does displace to Dave Stern Tires or over to that quadrant over there, that we would move that detail from the park, move it over there, and start giving tickets at that area. The problem is, last night, I came out, I stayed out till 2 o'clock in the morning. After you called me at 11 o'clock, the guys were getting hammered. It wasn't like there were cars available. It wasn't like cars were just sitting behind buildings. They were getting killed. They were getting crushed, going from job to job to job. So we talked about what could we do. We could do, when I was with the New York City Police Department in the 80s, we had quality of life cars. Yes. And that's a lot of the way they fixed it. Those two quality of life cars in the precinct, all they did was quality of life throughout that specific 8 square mile area like the city of Paterson. They weren't going to homicides, they weren't going to shootings, they weren't going to anything else. All they did was, like you said, from 10 to 3 in the morning, went and handled noise, congregating, whatever it was on the corners. If we need to do that, the chief, I asked him to put a proposal together. He gave me a written proposal. I will give it to the administration. I will give it to each one of you. I will send you an emailed copy. It has the cost in there, but it does cost money. And, obviously, we have it prepared, but those 2 cars would be quality of life cars. They're going nowhere, unless a police officer, God forbid, was, under fire or something like that. But no other calls but quality of life unless a police officer or someone's life is on the line.
Council
Okay.
President,
All
just
right,
last thing, last thing. A lot of the license plates from last night were from New York City also.
New
Yes,
York.
a
So-
lot
so-
of out-of-towners.
So, but I'm encouraged, and I'm encouraged to hear that, you know, something is gonna be done.
Yes.
It is about time. This is something that's been going on for many years, and it's an embarrassment. People here in Paterson pay as much in taxes as other municipalities.
Sure.
And we always get shortchanged with the services.
Mhm.
You know, they're improving, you know, we're improving them little by little, but, you know, we made it a point, some of my colleagues and I, and now, you know, most of my, I would say all of my colleagues, to let's change the culture, starting in this end, in this, you know, in City Hall, and also the residents' mindset that anything they want, they could do in Paterson without consequences.
I mean, there is some hope, there is some light at the end of the tunnel. We are meeting with the county prosecutor. We have 7 people that are on administrative leave. It's our hopes that they'll be released from administrative leave. Most of those people are on nights, so that should backfill the hole that we're seeing right now. And I will send, like I said, I will give the mayor, the administration, a copy of that proposal, and I will send it to all of you. Once we get the green light, we'll be more than happy to make those cars, and we will kick them out there, and we will go from area to area to area.
Council
And
President.
that's
Okay.
all they will do.
Thank you,
Council
Director.
And they will have a sheet that they will log what they're doing.
Okay.
Council President?
Councilman Abdelaziz,
Yes, so,
Councilman Velez.
Director, and this is the plan that the council, so no one is surprised. Last night, Councilman Rivera and I waited 35 minutes for a unit to come because they were so busy.
They were killed.
This
I was
is-
out there. I went and
this
helped
is-
them afterwards.
This is what, and then what happens is when we look at these quality of life issues, these quality of life issues end up being bigger issues for our city. These kids were drinking. When I say kids, these were 17-year-old to 19-year-old kids. It wasn't adults, it was kids. So what happens is they drink, and then they drive. They may hit one of a Patersonian that's driving with their family, coming home from a outing. So if we're not strict on this and we wait 35 minutes, a shooting could occur, a stabbing could occur. Then we're back on to the in the newspapers. So this is something, Director, and like I said, I know you're going to give it to the administration. Administration, please jump on this very, very serious. June's right around the corner. We should have this in place for the summertime, where these quality of life units just handle our loud music. They go bounce to bounce. We'll get a spreadsheet of where they're going, because I can guarantee you every council member here gets
I
at least
understand. I get the
50
texts.
No, 15.
I
So
get 'em.
we're getting 15 phone calls about loud
And
music.
and I'm getting them from you.
Imagine what 911 gets from the people that don't
Sure.
have our numbers.
And you know, it's characteristic of what happened last night. We cleared that issue. The people were getting hammered. And guess what? I got called 8 o'clock this morning. I went out 8 o'clock this morning, and you know what I heard on the radio? Someone going to a noise complaint from last night was already gone. So somebody waited hours. So I get it. But like I said, we have to try and stretch those resources. We're processing as fast as we can through the old list, and we're moving forward. I mean, everybody is moving the pieces that we need to move. And as you asked, as the 2 councilmen asked, we put the proposal together, and we will give it to our administration.
Thank you very much,
Okay.
Director.
Council President.
Councilman Velez, then Councilman Jackson.
Director, thank you, Council President. Director, when you say you chase him around, do you give him teacups, and what kind of ticket you give him? He say you got minors drinking there.
Excuse me?
Councilman Abdelaziz stated that there was even minors, well, judging at the
Correct.
physical, I don't know
Yeah.
if they minors.
We
But-
gave 1,600.
That's around the city.
Motor
That's the
vehicle.
weekend, though. That was
Yeah,
the
that was the
weekend.
whole weekend.
Councilman-
My
Councilman Velez.
question is,
Last
when
night
you
we
go
didn't-
to the place,
Correct.
are you just turn on the lights, get out of here, or you give ticket?
Last
teacups?
night,
Director, one second.
Yeah.
Councilman, just so you're aware, if you heard Councilman Abdelaziz
Yeah.
and Councilman Rivera,
right.
they specifically said that as soon as a cop arrived, everyone went like fast
Gone.
and furious.
Exactly.
Took
Oh.
off.
They were
So
like
at
Fast
that,
and Furious
at that
Avenue.
location,
Correct.
there was no teacups given out.
None.
Oh, okay.
Zero.
None. So just
They
just
were
to
they were
answer that.
gone as soon as we put the lights on. it was over.
So
But the
yes.
ones in East Side Park, the other ones, these details have to fill a sheet out and have to document how many contacts they have, positive and negative, how many T-cops they give, how many motor vehicle summons they make, how many arrests they make, and then we give that as well to the chief's office and also to Elmwood Park.
Good,
the East
Director.
Side Park detail.
And it's notable that this individual that stays in that area, and you stated that more likely from New York, license plate from New York, it's because they want to stay in the borders. It's easy to get out of the city. They're not going to come into the inside the city or downtown because they could get caught probably driving without license and all that baloney.
I've been there many times, Councilman.
My question is, Director, I see that the ordinance says addressing retention of off-duty officers, but to now authorize, who's paying for the off-duty officer?
Elmwood Park,
Elmwood Park. At what rate?
$40 an hour.
$40 an hour, okay?
Councilman, Councilman Velez, please. Councilman, do you realize that this went through a workshop and a first reading?
I understand,
No, I'm just saying, all these questions were answered.
But, Council President, with all due respect, I've been sitting here waiting for my turn, and I had to leave for a
I understand, and I'm giving
situation.
you the opportunity.
Now-
What I'm asking is for you not to repeat all of the things that we have discussed in various
Well,
meetings.
as you know, Council President, I was in here, so I'm not repeating other people's statement in the workshop, but I'm gonna finish. The reason is because here says that we wanna waive the fee of the car.
Yeah.
And, okay.
We're
All
waiving
right.
For
the
that
fee.
specific,
For that
for
specific.
that
The fee
specific
and
entity.
the administrative fee and the vehicle fee are being waived. They're paying for the police officer, which obviously it's our police officer. We did not want to have an Elmwood Park through a mutual aid agreement through the two county prosecutors. We thought that was the wrong message to have other police in our jurisdiction.
Are they gonna be patrolling the whole park?
Yes.
Oh, so
They
in other-
stay grounded in the park.
correct. So what, from what hours?
Different hours. We've been
During the day?
fluctuating. We've been fluctuating from.
Oh, okay. All right.
We're, until closing, sometime we're gonna go an hour after. It depends on the activity and see what happens. This is the first week, so obviously, it's too early to determine. We don't know if the people that went to that corner were displaced, so we're gonna start looking at, we even talked about that detail moving over and doing other areas, if they go to the Lowe's, if they go to other areas, so that we can handle it.
But
we
today we
also
gotta,
talked about this
but today we
quality of
gotta
life
address,
car.
today we are addressing only the administrative fees, correct?
Yes, the
Okay.
administrative fees and the vehicle fee.
All right. What?
The vehicle fees
And
and
administrative
administrative fee.
Correct. All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilman Velez. Shall we roll call, or do you want to do it in?
Very quickly.
Thank you.
Councilman Jackson?
Madam President.
Director.
Through the chair, Mr. BA, and I think that one of the things that we really need to look at, I know the director can contest to this, the fact that the officers are being asked to address a lot of issues during the after hours that could be circumvented by keeping potentially some inspectors on. For example, the calls that Donald Lynch is talking about, you have a auto body shop working at 1 o'clock in the morning. Now, the officers, they're not familiar with the code of enforcement for that, because through zoning, there's a requirement whenever they come through the Board of Adjustments or Planning Board, they have a time frame outlined in their certificate of occupancy. So you have, again, this is just adding to the lawlessness. Businesses that are staying open, if we keep inspectors on, it won't tie up.
And it drains our resources.
Exactly, it won't tie up officers. So, I mean, periodically, we need to look at possibly doing some shift changes, keeping inspectors on the weekends, and also addressing some of the other issues when it comes to the jobs that are being done by the inspectors. And I'll comment further when we go into roll call, Madam President, but I'm fine with that. Thank you, Director.
Thank you.
Roll call, Madam Clerk, on item number 3.
Madam President, if I may, Corporation Counsel, I'm pretty sure there was,
There was an amendment to
An
this to
amendment,
indicate
yes.
there was a change, correct?
Yes,
The
there was a
amendment?
change, so what we had published would have to do an amendment on the floor and send it back for second reading. That was the instruction given to me by Ben. So there's the old one that is attached, and the new one is here.
Yes.
But we have to, the old one was what was published in the paper. So I have to do a roll call on the amendment, send the
But
body.
we did that.
Not at the meeting. This is different.
Councilman Rivera wanted an amendment at the last meeting. We put the amendment in this meeting. Correct. He wanted the director to have to come back to the council before he would waive any administrative fee. That was
Correct.
added in this
That
resolution.
was the amendment.
It's added in here now. Yes.
I know, and we're gonna vote
Yes.
now.
Yes.
Okay. No, but what she's saying is that we have to vote on the amendment and then vote on the item.
It was not published with the amendment. Ben brought it to me today, the new version.
We cannot vote until it's published.
Wait.
Yes, that's what I was told. That's the instruction I was given. That's why I kept
But we
the
said
old.
the title.
I'm
So
sorry.
the
I-
title was one,
Title's the same.
Madam President, I kept the old one there and the new one is on top. So it's in the folder.
I got it.
Yes.
Councilman Velez, can you move the chair? I can't see your face.
What?
Okay.
The chair, Councilwoman Mims' chair.
I know this.
Council President.
I'm becoming the utility member here, moving chairs around every time they leave.
I know.
Council President.
Yes.
Wait,
Mike?
so that I'm clear, your question is whether or not they need to vote on the amendment?
Yes,
But
I
I
was
thought
given
that's
the
what we voted
instruction,
on
yes.
last week. We voted on the amendment. We said we were gonna put it forth with the amendment, and we voted.
But it's not published.
I got,
honestly don't recall, I don't recall that. I remember there was discussion regarding some changes. I don't honestly have the recollection of at the meeting it being decided that those changes were actually going to occur.
Yes, no, that's what we agreed on. Councilman Rivera suggested that there be a change. He wanted, the director to come every single time, because we did not want to give every governmental agency, because that meant schools, that meant other entities, correct? You were here. You were the one that put oh, okay, we're right now discussing the change. Item number 3 with the changes you wanted, the amendment for
Yes.
the director to come back to us.
So the reason for the change is because there is a cost associated with this, as I stated previously in another meeting. When a police officer works an off-duty job, the city, the employer in this case, which is the city of Paterson, have to match their FICA and MEDI. Although there's a state law that doesn't require police officers to pay, I believe it's the Social Security, they do pay Social Security for an off-duty job. So we have to match it. For every dollar that they get deducted, we have to match as a city. So that $5 is not a revenue, as some people think. Some people think that the $5 is for us to just make some money. No, it's to cover the cost that's associated with an off-duty employment, which oftentimes don't have nothing to do with city business. So that's why we made this amendment. We didn't want to give the flexibility to the mayor or this administration to waive the fee as they see fit. We want the administration to come before us, and the administration didn't have an issue doing that. I don't think the intent was to, circumvent the council. It was basically, but we just want to make sure that we keep the check and balances in place when making decisions. Thank you.
Okay, so what the clerk is asking is, she says that we have to vote on the amendment.
Correct.
Right.
Because, and maybe Councilman Rivera would have a better recollection, although I just looked at
Right.
an email that was sent to the BA. I just don't believe that amendment was voted on.
No.
Or solidified, if you will, at the last meeting. I believe Councilman Rivera expressed that concern.
It was.
But I
That's
do
why
not
it's in
believe that
second reading.
It was voted on. That, I don't believe that this was the ordinance that moved forward to second reading.
So where we left it is, and you were here actually, Corporation Counsel.
Yes, I was.
We needed some clarification if he needed to go back to first reading or if he was gonna continue as second reading. Madam Clerk had some recommendations. She had a stand on it. We wanted to do some research before proceeding to see if we would actually bring it up today for second reading, or it would have to go back for for first reading. So that's where we left it last time. The clerk, it wasn't clear of which way we were gonna go with this.
I remember Corporation Counsel saying because there was no drastic change, that it was just changing,
Council President, I think, I am going off from memory, the discussion we had where I gave legal recommendations were related to the escrow fees.
Yeah, those are
And,
the two.
and the hourly rate. It was not regarding, this ordinance. I'm almost certain of that. I do recall Councilman Rivera discussing his concerns, but I do not
all
recall
right,
it being voted on.
so we can move forward then to vote on that amendment.
You can move forward to vote on the amendment,
Right.
correct?
And then.
And then we vote,
But you cannot vote on the actual item tonight.
Okay.
You have to move that to the next workshop because
The next regular meeting.
I'm sorry, the next regular meeting. I
Right.
misspoke, because it was not published.
And it goes back for a second reading for the next meeting.
Correct.
we're gonna have to go back to that tape, because I mean, I don't have the greatest memory, but I
No.
remember specifically.
Council President, if I
Us.
may, item number 1 and 2 that is on the agenda now, those are the two that she make reference to that we had at the last meeting.
Correct.
Yes,
No, I know
that
that
was
about
1 and
items
2,
1 and
not
2,
3.
but I'm talking about item number 3.
No, I mean, Councilman Rivera, do you recall us
You
voting on
put
that?
the change, and I remember we discussed, does it go back to first? And the discussion was no, because if not, it wouldn't be for second reading.
I believe, we made the change.
It's 1 and 2.
We made the change.
So number 3.
Yes, we made the change, but we didn't know if we were gonna be able to go and stay on second reading, because we did an amendment. You had to, Madam Clerk had to check, what she needed to do when it came to the advertisement, correct?
We published it on the first reading. So at this point, all these amendment was not done on the floor for this item. So at this point now, we have a new ordinance with the amendment. The old one is here to show the difference. So at this point, we have to do on the floor a roll call on the amendment, and then we'll have it at the next regular meeting for second reading again.
But, again, I haven't looked at the law for a while regarding ordinances and what type of change requires an ordinance to go back or requires advertisement. If it's something minor, I'm talking about something, I used to study this maybe 3-4 years ago. But if it's something minor that doesn't change if it's not something major that you're doing to the ordinance, if it's not substantial, the change that you're making, you don't have that requirement to advertise.
Right,
But
you can amend it on the floor and still vote on it
correct.
if it's not.
And I don't know how to view, that's for interpretation, but we're not changing much of it. We're just changing the language that requires actually for the administration to come before us. The whole intent of it, or at least the majority of it, I think is being addressed, is staying the same way. It's just that minor change that we're making. I see it as a minor change, I don't know.
And I think, and I can understand the argument about seeing it as a minor change, I do, but I also could see the argument for it being a major change because it requires it now to come back before council. So while I agree that the spirit of it isn't really interrupted, I don't really then see the need to move forward with trying to force it through when it can be put on at the next regular meeting.
For second reading, correct?
Correct, for second reading. No, it will be on for second reading. It will be after this meeting, if the amendment is voted on, it will be on for second reading. It'll be published by the clerk, and we will have it on for second reading at the next regular meeting.
Okay. No, I need a motion and a second on the amendment. The amendment is listed it's in this paragraph. Yes, ma'am. The amendment was moved by?
Moved by Councilman Jackson and second by Councilman Abdulaziz. Roll call, Madam Clerk, on the amendment on item number 3.
Roll call on item number 3 with the amendment listed in the new ordinance that council members had on the, in your folder. Roll call on the amendment, Councilman Abdelaziz.
Yes.
Councilman Jackson.
Before I vote, Mr. Ming, been getting several text messages from constituents regarding the sound for the picture that's going in and out, just for FYI. My vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Khalid.
Yes.
Councilman Rivera.
Yes.
Number 3, the amendment, to say that they have to come back to us. They can't just choose the governmental entity. Like, they have to come, the chief has to come back to us.
Councilman McCoy. We're voting an amendment on item number 3. There's an old version in your folder and the new one that was given with the amended. Okay. Councilman Velez.
Yeah.
Item number 3. There's an amendment. There's the old version in your folder, and then the new one is on top, and there's amendment in the,
So we voted for the amendment?
yeah, we're voting on the amendment, yes.
For the amendment? Okay, but then we have to go back and vote for the adoption? All right.
Not today.
Not today?
Right.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be published again in the paper for,
All right.
Councilman Velez, your vote?
No. No.
Your vote is no?
No.
No?
No, because I'm not gonna vote on it. I don't feel comfortable on the amendment. I don't feel comfortable on waiving fee for other municipality when other people have to pay full.
That's the whole point of the amendment.
That's the amendment. They have to come before us for us to authorize it.
Oh, okay, yes, okay. Yeah, my vote is yes.
The vote is yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, you were out.
Madam President?
Councilman Rivera, did you vote?
Yeah, he did.
Okay. My vote is yes.
The vote is 7 in favor, 2 absent. Item number 3 is hereby amended with the votes. Second reading will be, on this ordinance, will be held at the next regular meeting on June 11, 2019, with the amendment, and public hearing is also required. Item number 3.
Okay, council members, we have 2 items left. Madam Clerk, item
Yes,
number 1.
Yes, Madam President. Next item is item number 1 for second reading. Public hearing is required. An ordinance setting the hourly base salary of the municipal professionals in connection, professional review fees pursuant to the Municipal Land Use Law, Economic Development, Ordinance 19026. Is there a motion?
Do I have a motion?
Which item?
Number 1 for second reading.
So moved.
Do I have a second? Moved by Councilman Abdelaziz, second by Councilman McCoy. Roll call on item number 1. Actually, the public hearing is now open on item number 1.
Sino will move to close.
Move to close the public hearing on item number 1 by Councilman Velez, second by Councilman Abdelaziz. Roll call to close the public hearing on item number 1 for second reading.
Yes, roll call to close the public hearing. Item number 1, Councilman Abdelaziz.
Yes.
Councilman Jackson.
Have to be
Public hearing.
for the closing? No, ma'am. I'm sorry. Yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Councilman Khalid.
Yes.
Councilman McCoy.
Yes.
Councilman Velez.
Yes.
Madam President.
Yes.
The vote is 6 in favor, 3 absent. Public hearing is hereby closed on item number 1.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, roll call on item number 1.
Roll call on item number 1 for approval for second reading. Councilman Abdelaziz.
Yes.
Councilman Jackson.
As I stated before in the past, Yeah, I do see the amendment is removed from 200% down to 100%. But I tell you, I have to be honest, as the days go on further, I lose more and more confidence in the role of the Economic Development Director. Obviously, you guys saw me render support in certain projects in good faith, and this is just nitpicking. This, you know, these fees are not going to have a substantial impact on the community, but yet they would have a great impact on small and local people trying to move forward with certain projects. My vote is no.
Thank you. Councilman Khalid?
No.
Councilman McCoy?
Yes.
Councilman Rivera?
With the amendment, I will vote yes.
No, we're voting on item number 1, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I just didn't want
Okay,
to
we
speak a
didn't.
lot.
I'm
I kept
sorry.
it short. I said with the amendment that we made to it, I'm in
Okay.
support of this
Thank
ordinance.
you. I misunderstood it, sorry. Councilman Rivera said yes. Councilman Velez?
No.
Madam President?
My vote is yes.
Madam President and honorable council members, I have to refer to the Corporation Council. I only have 4 votes. This is a second reading ordinance. I do believe it requires 5 votes because it's second reading. I only have 4 in favor. It's 4 in favor, 3 against, 2 absent.
Then it fails?
One moment, to be very honest. Paterson has some specific rules that are not the same as the former. So I'm actually going to need a moment to review. I apologize.
It's okay.
It's collected by the presence here, right? It all depends on the bodies, that here it goes the majority votes.
Let our Corporation Council refer to
You want to table it to?
the law.
Unless you want to withdraw the vote for table for next full board.
She want to announce Paterson Task Force fundraiser.
Mhm.
On the 5th, June 5th. Mhm.
So Wednesday.
I'm not too sure. Yes, Wednesday, yes. Council President and council members, while the Corporation Council is doing that work, with your permission, I just got a text from the Deputy Mayor and a representative on the Paterson Task Force, Ms. Janet McDaniels, who wanted to remind us that the Paterson Task Force will be holding its 55th annual fundraising event on Wednesday, June 5th, and they're desperately in need of the municipal council support. They're asking everyone to make sure that they buy a ticket or 2, or 3 or 4, as well as to place an ad in their journal. The tickets are $75, and she's reminding us that 1/3 of the board is appointed by the council and mayor. I guess that is to tell us that we should give them our full support. And the event will be on Wednesday, June 5th. All right?
Very
And-
well.
And I'm prepared to.
Thank you,
serve.
Corporation Council.
Thank you for your indulgence. The confusion was that there are some different distinctions about bond ordinances. However, according to your ordinance, according to the ordinance passed by this council, all matters other than those prescribed by law, which are bond matters, budget matters, may be adopted by a majority of the members present. So this ordinance can be adopted by the majority of the members present. So it passes. If I counted correctly, and it's a 4-3 or it's the majority of the members that were present, it passes.
I know the bond ordinance for second reading requires 6 affirmative votes.
Correct.
But this
Right.
isn't a bond.
This is not a
I
bond
know it's
ordinance.
not a bond, but this is for second reading. Okay.
Correct, and all other matters other than bond ordinances, local budget law, those matters, those ordinances may be adopted by a majority of the members present.
The vote is 4 in favor, 3 against, 2 absent. Item number 1 is hereby adopted on second reading. Next.
Council members, the last item is item number 2 for second reading. Madam Clerk, please
Yes.
read number 2 for second reading.
Next item is item number 2 for second reading. Public hearing is required, an ordinance amending and supplementing the zoning and land development ordinance of the City of Paterson, authorizing the collection of escrow fees for development applications, Economic Development Ordinance 19027. Is there a
Have a
motion?
motion? Moved by Councilman Abdelaziz. Do I have a second? Do I have a second? And this motion fails.
I second that.
Second by moved by Councilman Abdelaziz, second by Councilman Rivera. Roll call on item number 2.
Madam President, can you open the public hearing first?
I'm sorry, the public hearing is now open for item number 2.
See no one move to close.
Move to close by Councilman Velez, second by Councilman
Second.
Abdelaziz. Roll call to close the public hearing on item number 2.
Yes. Roll call to close the public hearing for item number 2. Councilman Abdelaziz.
Yes.
Councilman Jackson. Public hearing. Councilman Khalid. Public hearing. Yes, sir. Councilman McCoy.
Yes.
Councilman Rivera.
Yes.
Councilman Velez.
Yes.
Madam President,
Yes.
the vote is 7 in favor, 2 absent. The public hearing is hereby closed on item number 2.
Madam Clerk, roll call on item number 2
Roll call on item number 2
for second reading.
For second reading, Councilman Abdelaziz.
Yes.
Councilman Jackson.
No.
Councilman Khalid.
No.
Councilman McCoy.
Yes.
Councilman Rivera.
Yes.
Councilman Velez.
No.
Madam President,
I have a problem voting for this. I think I put it on record when we were discussing it in workshop, when we discussed it in first reading. What are we going to do in terms of working with developers and making it an easier transition and cutting all the red tape? We continue to tack on fees after fees, so we say, well, I didn't raise your taxes, but yes, you did, when you increase fees after fees. And so I'm not feeling comfortable.
Are you asking us what we're gonna do, Madam President, or are you?
Well, I
gonna-
put it on record before, and, you know, I was told, well, yeah, we're gonna, you know, we're definitely working with the developers, and I know we had our Director of Economic
Sure.
Development.
So we're doing a number of things. I mean, if that's the question that you're asking, I mean, number one, I think the Economic Development Director needs staffing, so we're coming before you tomorrow during the budget process to kind of talk to you about additional resources that are needed in order to accommodate the developers as they come through. We're also talking about reshuffling the deck a little bit, you know, to kind of move some staff around to kind of align things better. So, yes, there are things that will be done, you know, to support, you know, what we're trying to do in this ordinance, if that's the answer to your question.
I asked the mayor to, if possible, to put a time frame on, in terms of when someone submits an application for it to be read, there should be a time frame. Why is it that a lawyer is holding on to a resolution that's been approved by a board for months?
Council
I
President.
don't know if that's necessarily
One
accurate,
second,
Council
it's
President.
my-
I think,
I'm on vote. What did you say?
I said,
Mr.
I don't
Bean?
know if it's necessarily accurate that lawyers are holding on to resolution for months. I do think that there are some delays in the process, but I really believe that in order for Paterson to really continue to thrive in this economic environment, I think we have to follow suit to our sister cities who have these fees in place to kind of help the development along. I think, shooting down this ordinance, I think will be doing a disservice, to us, the administration, as well as the city. And I think that we can do things to put the right processes in place to become more data-driven, but it's not going to happen overnight. We're trying to get our sea legs from under us. I think the Economic Development Director is doing the best he can with what he has right now. And I do believe that, we can put some parameters, put a scorecard together, put some timelines around from the time the application is submitted to the time it's actually granted. But, those are things that are in flight, they're in progress.
All
They're
right,
not
so,
in place
so,
today.
so, Mr. B.A., I know what I'm
Sure.
talking about, so I'm
Sure.
not making this up when I tell you that there are boards, I didn't want to name anyone specific, but there are boards that, items have been approved, projects have been approved, and resolutions have not been drafted to move forward with their projects, and I'm talking weeks and months at a time.
I'm not suggesting, Council President, you're not.
Okay,
I'm just
so,
saying,
and
again,
that is
it's
something
not-
that I brought to the mayor, like, when I
Sure.
sat down with him, I mentioned it to him, what are we doing? Because, we're gonna go ahead and move forward, and Councilman Rivera just brought to my attention, that the amendment still is not in the resolution, but I hope you're looking at not the copy that she made, because she attached the amendment
The amendment,
with the original and then the amendment, so there's two.
So the yellow sheet will be what? Is that the original or is that the amendment?
No, that's the original, am I correct? Madam Clerk, the yellow copy is you added it just so we could see that there was the original and then the amendment? Because the yellow copy indicates 200%, there's no,
no,
the
I-
change
I
isn't there.
think you're looking at, so if you look at the yellow copy, the changes were made. So if you look at the yellow copy, on section A, 1G, you'll see charges for professionals who are employees of the municipality may not exceed 100%. So that was one change that was made, correct? That's one change.
Hold on. I'm talking about section E.
Section E, again, I think is for special meetings. That section was not supposed to change. That was in the original statute. Councilman Jackson raised that issue, and he explained, that's for special meetings only, the 200.
Councilman Kalik,
The one,
okay,
Madam President.
all right, so
Actually-
we're in the middle of the vote, so.
Yeah, I just want clarification for Councilman Rivera. When I got the amended version, I sat with Jackie and I compared it with the old version to show that the changes was made, and it was done. Unless there's something in addition that
No,
I am
he's
not
just
aware
talking,
of.
special meeting is the 200%.
correct.
But
Okay.
I did check.
All
again.
right, so I just wanted to put it once again, Mr. B, on the
Sure.
record, okay? Because like I said, I did talk to the mayor about it, and I talked about that there should be some type of limit, some type, from when someone submits their application, and obviously everything has to be right. But I'm just saying, we need to cut that red tape, we can't continue to go to developers and say, invest your monies, but then at the same time, not allow them to do their expand on their projects or move forward with their projects. My vote is yes on number 2, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Council President.
Madam President,
Yes, sir.
I want to clarify something here, and I don't know if it's suitable. I noticed this ordinance was addressing two issues, okay? And the two issues was giving authority to the zoning officer to be the sole individual to handle the COs and has the authority by certificate, by state, that's the only one to handle that, correct? And the other thing was the scroll. right?
Say that again, Councilman Velez, I didn't understand what you just
This,
said.
this ordinance was addressing two issues, the scroll fees and the authority of the director of community improvement, over the
I'm sorry,
construction.
Councilman, I think you already voted, so you voted no on it, so.
No, is that, I was gonna change it.
No, but we're in the
that's
middle,
okay.
I mean,
No,
you
I
know,
was-
we really want to talk, we're not in discussion right now, we're in the middle of a vote. And everyone voted, and I had the last vote, so now you want to come back again and bring a discussion. I don't think it really, right now, at this point.
No, I was gonna change my vote, but that's okay. It was passed already, right? Okay, good, thank you.
You're gonna change it.
I guess I will do.
Okay, that's it, that's it.
You wanna
Council
change
President, that's it.
Go ahead.
No, that's
You
okay.
plan to change
No,
your
that's okay.
vote. You didn't say that.
Council
No,
President,
I
just
was-
go with it, that's it. He voted.
Look at her face.
That's okay, pass.
You don't pass. It's still ready.
No, you voted already, Councilman.
Okay.
Okay, may I continue, Madam President, with the vote? The vote is 4 in favor, 3 against, 2 absent. Item number 2 is hereby adopted on second reading.
Okay.
There are no more
I believe there are no more items.
No
Am I
more
correct?
items on the agenda. Yes, Madam President.
Okay, do I have a motion to close?
So
the
moved.
Public portion, please be reminded that tomorrow there is,
Budget hearing,
budget hearing on
Six-
Thursday, the 30th as well.
6:30.
Okay, 6:30. Councilman Jackson, you'll be presiding the meeting, although the finance chair really runs the meeting, the budget hearings.
Council President, I've reported that I wouldn't be able to make tomorrow's meeting.
Okay. I believe that the clerk will have
I think we have 5.
you have the 5 for tomorrow. Okay.
Okay, I'm
We did have a,
waiting for dinner at 8.
No, it should be 6:30. You have the departments that'll be discussed.
I'm out at me and
Okay.
Shane.
Okay. We have a motion to close the regular meeting by Councilman Abdulaziz. Do we have a second? Do we have a second?
No one wants to go home?
Second by Councilman Jackson. Roll call to close the regular meeting of Tuesday, May 28th.
yes, roll call to close the regular meeting of Tuesday, May 28, 2019. Councilman Abdelaziz,
Yes.
Councilman Jackson,
Since Councilwoman Cotton isn't here to do her closing remarks, I'll take her time from her. Well, first of all, I'm hoping that, I think this council, we're already in roll call to close, but we forgot the measure to move a resolution of support for the Center City project. I think that is extremely important. But really want to just talk a little bit about my disappointment. You know, there's things that happen in our community that we know about, we can attest to, and yet and still we just would like to turn a blind eye to. And the last resolution that we just voted in, you know, we have an economic development director who doesn't live in the city. We have a new hire of a zoning officer who doesn't live in the city. You know, these are people that are making detrimental decisions of what happens in our community. We turn over the reins of authority without oversight. That's very concerning to me. As a council member, we make requests all the time. And last year at the budget hearings, Mr. Chairman, you know, I made several requests in reference to. So when we get to it this year, you'll understand, in reference to the way in which the reporting is done within the municipal court system, we should have thorough and clear reports based on performance. We should know exactly which tickets and how much we're generating from various departments, including zoning and community improvements, Mr. Chairman, community improvements and, you know, the various departments. We should know this information. We can't gauge performance. We can't gauge, you know, how what needs to be implemented if we don't know exactly what's going on. And you know, our courts are still failing to produce that information. how much are we generating from various departments? That way we can look at even performance from the police department standpoint. Where are they writing tickets? Where, you know, where are they targeting, for that matter? So, I mean, these are very, you know, important issues that I think we need to keep in mind during these financial discussions, through budget hearings. And, you know, it's very frustrating when we continue to sit here and there's no ripple effect in the community that I see, and yet and still we still have people who don't reside here, who their best interests are not in the city's favor, are still making these hardline decisions. So I just wanted to put that out there. I'll let it rest there, but Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman McCoy?
I voted yes. Good night.
Councilman Rivera?
My vote is yes. Everyone is welcome to come. Tomorrow is the first rounds of the meetings, departmental budget hearings. Welcome to come. My vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Velez?
Stay positive, and let's keep on continue working with the city, and my vote is yes.
Madam President?
Before I vote, Councilman Jackson, just so you know, I know that Councilman Rivera had a motion, okay, for a resolution. When we took the break, I had a conversation with Corporation Counsel. Along with Councilman Rivera, we're gonna work on that resolution to definitely have support. We cannot and should not put a name to we have to be very careful with that, but I think that there is a way that we are able to give support and probably put on record maybe that as a council, we support the 6 projects that were originally submitted in 2018. Maybe it can be written that way without putting any names, or just a generic supporting a resolution that would indicate projects that have jobs attached to them that are prominent, you know, not necessarily just for housing, but having, you know, when we look at 400 construction jobs and 400 permanent jobs in hospitality.
Yeah, we don't know about those other projects, so to say just in blanket in support of the 6, it goes right back to talk about what Corporation Counsel talked about. If we didn't see the presentations for those other 6, I don't even know what the other 6 are. But I mean, listen,
but we're going to work on that. I don't want you to think that it's not going to happen. Okay, Paterson, have a good night, Madam Clerk. My vote is yes.
Let me move my motion then until you do it.
Oh, that's why we're going to go ahead and we'll put you can sponsor, co-sponsor. Okay.
Okay.
Absolutely.
The vote is
Good night.
The vote is 6 in favor, 3 absent. Regular meeting of May 28, 2019 is hereby adjourned. Good night, everyone. Thank you.